Welcome back, everybody, to more BPL Season 8 playoff coverage. My name is Bowsy, and I'm joined here by Jace on the cast as it's time to begin week number 2 of the playoffs here, Jace. And we have a stacked schedule to start off our weekend here as we take a look at that schedule right here today to see what matches we're covering here on our first day of week 2.
Yes, BPL is back. It's your favorite part of the week. Will we get a 5-map series? Yes, because Bowsy is on cast. At 8 p.m. it's Odin versus Ametori. That's right here, that's right now, that is coming up. And then at 9:30 p.m. we've got Kern, Fish and Co. taking on Doors, Luau, and the Slime City Monarchs. So B-League will be on right after this. But for now, back up to the A bracket. We've got a Clash of Gods versus like a cute rubber ducky. It's Odin versus Ametori. And this is the preview show. This is the kickoff. This is the pre-game. Teams are getting ready, loading into lobby. And it's in the upper semifinals, as you can see. We're getting quite deep into the playoffs almost already. BPL, Bowsy, it feels like it goes so quick. It just feels like a couple of weeks ago we were doing kickoff tournaments.
Yeah, definitely. It has been a pretty quick season nonetheless here. Ametori and Odin meeting up here in the upper semis. And funny you mentioned the kickoff tournament. That is the last time that these two teams met. It was Odin falling against Ametori in the kickoff tournament. But since then, Odin has been undefeated. They have never lost a series since that kickoff tournament. Ametori has been a different story. They did make it to the the finals of the kickoff tournament, but have had a very rocky regular season, including losses to Snowdrop and Odin. So we'll have to see how these two teams are going to face off. Currently, the score is even between them. So we'll have to see who's taking the upper hand here and who might be winning the duel overall between these two teams.
Yeah, coming in Ametori are definitely the underdogs. Odin beat them in the regular season, but best of 5 with not pre-selected maps is a completely different ballpark. I'm talking about you're going from playing in AAA to stepping up and having to bat against Yamamoto in the majors. It's a completely different ballpark. Let's have a look at the head-to-head. As you can see, it actually was even, to be fair, but the kickoff was quite a while away. I would still say Odin are coming in favoured. I actually thought that Odin were 2-0 in terms of their matchups, not gonna lie. But it's clearly close between these teams, and I think Ametori have all the reason to be confident coming off a very clean 3-0 against Zirial.
Yeah, definitely. Odin, meanwhile, did not have the cleanest start to their playoffs here. But what matters most is the players on each of these teams. And Odin stacked with a lot of veteran talent, including the reigning B-League champion Twisted on the side of coming from Requiem. A lot of these players very talented in their own right. Some are household names here in BPL community. Laser, Cam, Crow coming in here for this team. But then you have Ametori, a lot of non-recognizable names or teams or players that have not been in the scene for that long. But of course, we all know Cry. We all love Cry on the support line. Also, not to mention, Ametori is run by Paracelsus, which is the most decorated manager in all of BPL history. So there's a lot on the line for both of these teams.
Unfortunately, he's a little bit the Sir Alex Ferguson of BPL, which pains me to say. But era's come to an end, Bowsy, and I, for one, will be there for the downfall of Paracelsus Orgs. Nonetheless, we've got Laser versus Frostfire. This is like an A-League classic. Zimziv, Cry, and Ilu, as well for the Ametori backline, all kind of BPL mainstays at this point. It's important that you mention Twisted, because if anyone has seen Twisted, please let us know. He last appeared during the draft, and since then has gone on a gap year to Beijing, I think. He's in the Japan group chat, and he liked it so much in Shibuya that he stayed there. So he's not turned up for Odin so far all season. So we're going to be getting Laser and Sorry on the DPS finals. Speaking of China, we're going to be heading over to Lijiang Tower for our first one.
Yeah, Lijiang Tower, the first map. This is the map pick here from Odin, so they decided to bring us over to Lijiang Tower, which is definitely much more of a brawl-centric map, so we'll have to see how that's going to play in favor here for Odin. Checking to see if they do have any history on this map. They do. In the regular season, they faced off against Phantom Verdict, I believe that is. Yes, Phantom Verdict, and they won that map. But the last time they picked this map was in their first playoff match versus I believe this is Echo Knights. That is Echo Knights. but they lost. So interesting sort of pick here. We'll have to see if Ametori is going to take advantage of the fact that they are coming off of a loss here on Lijiang Tower, and if they're going to be able to take that in their own.
I mean, it's Lijiang, right? So like everyone's got scrim experience on Lijiang. I think the ban phase is going to be a bit more indicative. And I said it last week after Cam almost dragged a team that he was winning 4 to 5 maps. At some point, you might have to respect ban the Orisa if you're Ametori, because Cam has been, will be, and I think always will be, the best Orisa that we've seen and will see in BPL. This guy is just the Orisa GOAT. I know it's not the most skill-intensive hero, but I do believe that Cam is just so consistent on the Orisa, puts up so much damage, makes so many plays with this now more aggressive build of Orisa that we're seeing in Overwatch 2 5v5. She's got so much playmaking potential. Her damage is nuts. And Cam just manages to find it every single time. I think the pull range on Orisa is completely piss broken, and you get yoinked from half a map away, but that doesn't stop Cam from still getting a legal value with it. It just anything that makes his job a little bit easier. Zarya ban? Yeah, I guess he's going to be playing Orisa map 1. No shock there.
Yeah, Ametori are going to try to save that Orisa ban for later. They decide to go for the Genji first here, which tells me they don't want to have to worry about that dive.
Yeah, Sorry is known for their Genji, so taking away the Genji one trick for map 1, it's going to be a strong start if they are able to do it. I feel like we now have clarification on it, but I always forget. So the losers of each map going forward get ban order and map pick. That's important to mention because that means you can target specific comps with specific maps. You go over to King's Row and you take away their Reinhardt. You go over to Numbani and you take away their Ana, so the Winston becomes a bit squishier. In playoffs, best of 5, big emphasis on tactical map picking and taking away muscle memory. Teams have got scrim time, but they're probably playing 1 or 2 comps at most on each individual map/mode. So I think that's really important. As I said, I'm always a big fan of bans that disrupt the opponent's muscle memory, because it just means they have to be a little bit better in order to get the same amount of value.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the bans play out as well as the map picks. If you take a look here at the map stats for each of these teams, and as it currently stands, Jace, Ametori are undefeated on Control all season. So if there was any mountain to climb here for Odin, it is going to be first map.
It is the one map that Odin have won on Control, to be fair. I love that both teams get access to these numbers as well. So it looks like overall, the other modes are very, very much in favour of Odin, but that would make sense given their regular season record and their run in the kick-off tournament. Flashpoint, that was an 0-3 Saravasa, by the way, there for Ametori. I don't know if anyone caught that. So if we manage to get to map 4 in our first to 3, then Saravasa would be a very strong pick for the side of Odin. Looks like we get nighttime with a little bit of summer rain as we head into Lijiang Tower. Is the Symmetra going to come out for Ametori? I think it's one of the most consistent counters into the Orisa comp, just being able to kind of play 1v2 against her. I don't know if Ametori has particularly got it in the bag. I think Genji is... I'm not quite sure how he does into Symmetra. Obviously, the idea that he can't really deflect the damage, but that's like a really basic take, the same way that people would say that you can kill Bastion with Genji because you just deflect his turret form. It's a little bit like Genji, if you get low HP, will just snap you and leave. Particularly these really good Genji players like Sorry. I think Sim is pretty good on this map as well. Will we see it? Well, we're at least going to get it to TP out the spawn. But Ametori, they don't want any part of it. They're going to be playing Mei instead. Maybe Cam making a counter read here, by the way, Bowsy, suspecting that they might try and run an Orisa comp and trying to play Ram, who fares quite well into this Ametori comp, which is definitely aimed at targeting down an Orisa.
We'll see as now the very early kinetic grasp coming out here from Matt Burger to keep themselves alive from this pressure coming out from Cam. Cam's just going to be doing that block. Of course, the recent Ram buffs allowing Ram to now punch after blocking. But that Vortex coming out as well from Cam, just trying to separate the members of Ametori, which right now is doing to perfection. Another Nemesis form coming out as Cam just trying to keep themselves alive. But Matt Berger, meanwhile, finds Laser in the backline. A good start here for Ametori. Creature goes into Cam, and the wall behind them keeps that Ramatra in close quarters. It's going to be the cleanup here from the side of Ametori to take the point first.
Yeah, and great wall to get the extra pick onto Sorry as well. And it's important to note that Ametori, the way they win that fight is actually with their ebb rather than with their flow. Overwatch in team fighting, it's forward and backwards. It's what they do with their downtime that's particularly effective. Once Cam's form is dead, they isolate him on point, they chunk his HP. Cam cannot move from that spot. They then hit the side angle to then take control of the right room, which allows him to flush out the side fights, the squishies of Odin. And basically Cam is isolated. He has to block on low HP. That means that Laser dies first because he's unable to play the game. This Sorry again gets picked. Ametori, Sig is just so broken at the moment, by the way. Like, such a good controller of tempo and really providing great damage onto the side of Odin so far. They're getting peppered by the Sig.
Yep, and an early Blizzard coming out here as well here from Easel, going to make it very easier for Ametori to clean up Cam yet again here. And Consider Rush from Zimzev is just another needle in the thread here. It's going to be a cleanup once again from Ametori, 50% on the point. Odin need answers fast.
Yeah, it's the fast blizzard for Messel, which is actually illegal. Like, this was, what, maybe like a 90-second, if that, blizzard. We're already at 60%, which I think it might have even been less than a minute. And Ametori have got a wealth of ultimates. They've been doing so much damage yet again. Odin have got to walk into a big one.
Gravitic Flux is used. Beat answer back here from Crow. As here comes both the beat from Cry and the Consider Rush from Noctara. Frost going to use the Deadeye, trying to make their way around to try and find that early pick, and is getting picked out by Sorry, hitting him right in the head with those Hellfire shotguns. And now they make their way to the back and get rid of Zimzip as well. Sorry trying to pop up in the kill feed now, and it looks like Odin are finally finding the answers that they were looking for. First point is going to be now Odin finally going to be capping the point first. Once they deal here with these stragglers, Essel and Cry falling in the aftermath.
Yeah, you see the ultimates that allow them to sustain a bit more. They pop Kitsune Rush, Beat, and Annihilation in that fight. All ultimates that help keep them alive because it's just so much damage pressure from Ametori there that they needed to just essentially cheat with the HP bar that they're given thanks to the cooldown and the damage reduction to be able to live it. Laser, this is a really dangerous high noon, I think. If he doesn't get out-rotated, he might just fall over after it.
Yeah, Laser just looking for that fast rotation, is not going to be able to find anybody with it, but does force the members of Odin to sort of panic a bit, or Ametori, excuse me, to panic a bit. Sorry trying to push their way forward, ends up having to back out here so far. Right now, it's just been a clean fight. Odin not losing anybody, Ametori not losing anybody, just little blows back and forth until here comes that Consider from Zimzip. Sorry in the backline, looking for the Death Blossom, and they find absolutely nothing. Zimzip kills them out right before they're able to get anybody. Laser gets rid of Frost, but the Blizzard from Essel is able to get rid of Cam in the aftermath, as Odin just looking to try and find anything here. But Ametori, meanwhile, have flipped the point. They've gotten the point back in their favor. Overtime Wick now beginning to burn here for Odin, trying to find their way back in. But Matt Berger is making an absolute mess of things. Already gets rid of Laser, and Crow just trying to stay alive right now. The Doomfist pick coming out here from Cam, just trying to stall it out and find these last minute picks to try and get their team back in the fight, but hasn't been able to find anything thus far. Just been running around the map looking for anything and has not found anything. Gonna die here to the hands of Frost as Odin nowhere to be seen. Ametori will take the first point on Legion Control Center.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to single out, or I guess double out here, but both teams are playing a tank that's a bit more brawly and a flex DPS that is looking to play 2v2 in a little bit of what I like to call an Overwatch pick and roll. It's a flex DPS like Reaper, Mei, sometimes Pharah, Torbjorn, Sombra, sometimes even Xion. Basically just a little bit of a tank buster and a tank themselves. But the value that Essel gets compared to Sorry that round is just like a monumental down. They get 2 Blizzards compared to the 1 Death Blossom from Sorry. So not only is the hero better fundamentally, they're just doing way more damage. Sorry was just not able to walk up into that comp, and once Essel had the space to hold, they did it excellently. 2 really good enables to get stages that are so important on Control Center as well. On Control in general, man, Essel and Matt Berger just dominating the frontline trades right now for Ametori. It's having huge after effects and stages on the rest of Odin's core. They just can't play the front of man.
Now it's going to be difficult here for Ametori, considering Odin have decided to go over to the tried and true catching comp that has been made popular in the professional scene. So Ametori stuck on the wrong side of history right now. They're trying to make their way around to try and wrap around the point here. Frost continues trying to aim up at that Bastion, but hasn't been able to find anything yet here. Odin's going to be able to cap the point first, as now it's going to be Ametori trying to make their way in, but right now they have a whole bunch of hurt. A Pharah and a Bastion both in the sky, peppering them down, and getting rid of Frost as well in the process. Your main hit scan out of the picture.
Ooh, do they trade later? The fact that the Bastion lives is illegal, but Furry gets an excellent trade as well. It's important that Odin were able to cap point and then wait. Ametori was stuck. They were stored outside the objective with no cooldown.
No.
Matt Burger goes off the map. But the important thing there is we saw Ametori AFK around about where Pam is now on the entrance to Gardens. What's that do? What's that doing? That's allowing more time for Sorry to... But most importantly, it's buying time for Laser to get his form back. He used form early. And Ametori, that's the timing. Once the form is down to the Bastion, Ametori kind of have the water win. They were unable to. They just didn't have the HP, they didn't have the cooldown. And that buys Odin a second swing. It almost lets them time warp. Now, what I mean by that is they take 2 turns in a row, and they're not punished for it.
Now here comes the Kitsune Rush here from Zimziv to try and open up the door here for Ametori. Cry, however, dies to the hands of Nectar in the back line, and Frost is going to die as well to Laser yet again. This Bastion, or so more so this Catchin, is proven to be a problem here for the side of Ametori, as Odin continue to counter the percentage now up to 64%.
Taking a page from the unethical demons in B-League, shout out Hidden King, very deeply Joel Embiid adjacent Overwatch coming out now from them. We are going to get potentially a Sky Noon though from Frost, so Cry has deployed a cat for themselves. You know, we're going to be getting cat on cat crime right now in the BPL A-League upper finals.
We'll see how that cat and cat crime goes, as here comes the flying high noon here from Frost, just separating everyone from the side of Odin all the way to the back line. Now Kitsune Rush is going to answer back here from Nectar. Kitsune Rush now on the point for Odin. 5% left here until Ametori are in the overtime area. They actually get the flip 4-3 here, but that's a beautiful cage coming out from Cam. The Bola shot from Essel does absolutely nothing as Sorry just shoots them into oblivion. 2 with the barrage as well. Now here comes the catnapper as well from Crow, keeping Matt Burger stuck in place on the Diva. It's just the cleanup right now for the side of Odin, as they're trying to bring this to a pivotal map number 3. Overtime wick begins to burn here on Lijiang Night Market as Essel tries to touch, but not enough time. Odin tie up the score.
Odin hit the panic button and they deploy the secret technology comp, Mauda Cat Bastion. It's so devastating to deal with because you end up looking up so much that sometimes your positioning can naturally divide itself. The Cat Bastion requires you to play around that cooldown and respect that form way more than it normally does, because of the speed at which the cat can deploy you on just weird off angles, weird covers, trajectories, angles that you're just not prepared for. It gives you another layer to your game. You've not got to worry about the side fight, you've got to worry about the vertical fight as well. And whilst all of that is going on, attention is a resource. When the Cat Bastion pulls yours, if it pulls it for too long, you're going to be peppered by a Pharah, or the Maud is going to be looking for a stop. Maud of Pharah is a great combo. Cat Bastion is a great combo. Odin's comp as a 5, I wouldn't say it's the most synergistic, but you've got sort of 2 prongs of a spear right now, 2 prongs of a trident almost. It's working excellent for Odin, and I think it will continue to work as we get into Gardens. I forget the name of these at the point.
It's Gardens.
There you go.
And unfortunately for Zimziv, they're currently out in the grave right now, not in the Gardens, as Laser now with this perk being able to shoot rockets from up on high, get from above indeed. Cam meanwhile in the small room cleaning up the remaining pieces, as Odin yet again get the cap first here on the Gardens.
It's just like Palantir POV from Laser right now, with the committing the war crimes on the Bastion. And now that they have space, now that Ametori are forced to walk in.
Oh!
Sorry, just died to the perk. Take the rocket, it's not quite healed up. And I actually liked the TP from Essel. Shout out the skin as well. That's Malfurion's wife. Warcraft 4. But they need to do something to rotate against this Bastion, because otherwise they're just going to, It's so hard for Ametori to play right now against this Maud Cat Bastion. So much stuff to look at.
You constantly need to put your head on a swivel right now if you're any member of Ametori. Ignore the fact that you have the Bastion. Now you're going to try to make that work, and it's actually going to work perfectly. The catch now coming out from Ametori cleans up Laser, so now Odin are down their main DPS. That's not how you're supposed to unleash your Bastion. That's not what we mean by dropping the Bastion from above, Cry, but whatever the case be, Odin now have an opportunity to try and respond to this as they're waiting for Ametori to get that sort of advantage.
No.
Sorry, trying to clean up. They get rid of Zimzif as now here comes Cry coming back over with the Bastion, but the damage has already been done. 3 picks in favor here for Odin, and Frost is here, but they're pretty much out of the fight at this point. They have to get back here with the cat to try and keep themselves alive, but here comes the cat down for Crow. Have now 2 times. Frost has been dropped off by a cat into the abyss.
Yeah, Odin looks so good with their synergy as well. Important to remember that Nectar, Crow, Cam, and Laser have all played together many a time before, so they're just able to execute this with relative ease. Their comm structure pretty much already set in place before the start of the season. With interaction, Laser getting the Torbjorn explosives perk, the midterm explosive perk, means that technically Frost has the advantage in the exact mirror, but I think overall, if you're not just staring at the Bastion, way easier for Laser to get value on the rest of his team. As you can see, Frost wins the 1v1. If he can't kill him, Laser gets infinite value on the rest of his team.
We'll see if Ametori able to win now with that Bastion out of the picture. Consideration is going to come out here from Zimzip, but Odin are still answering back strong. Nectar, however, out of the fight, so Odin might just be willing to give this up for now. Ametori, meanwhile, cleaning up the fight. Crow's going to eventually finally fall to their cat adversary here as the flip goes over here for Ametori, but now Odin are ready for this next fight here, Jace.
So, Ametori take a page out of the Mosque of Twisted Minds. We've heard of the Church of T1, it's the Mosque of Twisted Minds. Ethel out here on the Symmetra, doing excellent work. Sim and Big, again, we were talking about 1-2 combos, straight at nullifying.
Oh, cage cancelled! The cage was canceled by the accretion. Beautiful rock there from Matt Berger, and it's going to be able to pay dividends here. 3 kills immediately for Ametori. What a move from Matt Berger, turning that entire fight around in the blink of an eye.
Yet again, Ametori they offer a good fight back. I think having control of Gardens is way easier than having to attack it. Odin don't have the Symmetra, they don't have a speed boost, so their rotation is going to be quite slow. And as I said, the Sim and the Sage is a 1-2 combo, so good into the Mauga that anytime he has to go in, tries to go in, you just kind of melt him. They also win the Sky War as well, so Ametori, slowly but surely, crawling their way back into this game.
It's going to be hard here. Matt Berger, however, does find that blocks onto Sorry, but now it's going to be
can we pull him off the map?
Entry back here, trying to get Cam, and it's going to throw Cam right off the map. Odin constantly falling 1 by 1, but now the tanks on either side. It's just Frost and Karai right now on the point. The rest of Odin are running back. Frost is very close to dead. Going to use that self-repair to keep themselves alive as here comes that configuration artillery. Trying to turn the tide as Matt Berger comes back here on the Diva. Crow, meanwhile, gets rid of Zimzif. It's back and forth right now, but Sorry's out of the picture yet again. Flip is going to come through from Odin. Ametori need to try and touch to keep this Wick alive as Frost now trying to clean up the field here with that Bastion. Crow gets the kill on a Matt Berger, though, with the purr. Not what you want to see if you're the members of Ametori as they fall 1 by 1. Ethel the only kill in red for the favor of Ametori, and Odin will defeat that undefeated map win streak for Ametori on Control that has lasted all season.
Yeah, and I think Ametori actually do really well for the fight back. Even getting the rock cancel on the cage is massive for them. Did get outplay from Bakanje, aka Matt Berger. Unfortunately, I think that both rounds that they're on this Cat Bastion comp, Odin, they get so much free capture percentage by winning the first fight, holding it first, and getting it to 99. They are then able to find a rotation onto point that Ametori are not contest. They're not able to contest. The overtime forces them onto the objective, and then they just win with the ultimates. It was a little bit of a scrappy fight. I actually thought Laser could have swapped off the Bastion the minute that they go onto Cat Bastion themselves, but he opted to stay on it. I don't think he got the most value, to be fair. As I said, I think Frost was getting the better of that air 1v1, but that's kind of the cool counterplay. As I said, that Lindholm explosives perk that turns your Pharah, that turns Bastion into a Pharah with a jetpack cat, means that in the mirror, when it's Cat Bastion versus Cat Bastion, you just basically never win that 1v1. So cool bit of interaction, and ultimately even basically being down a perk, being at a perk disadvantage, Laser and Co still managed to navigate and come out with a resource win thanks to the amount of value they were able to get before Ametori make the Cat Bastion swap. Did they swap too late? That's a question that we're going to have to go over. in the future after this series. Because for now, Odin don't care, Bowsy, and they're 1-0 up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Odin, a very good situation. Now, again, it was just a very mishmash style of what we saw there toward the end of that. It seemed like no side was really winning, but it is interesting how even when Odin used 3 ultimates and lost the fight, especially when they lost that cage in the middle of it, they still were able to win the next fight. So it says a lot about Odin's perseverance in this matchup. So we'll have to see if that's going to play to the betterment here as we wait for our pick for map number 2. Again, Ametori do get the map pick, and they also get the map ban order. So we'll have, or the hero ban order. So we'll have to see what Ametori are thinking of playing here as we take a look at our map pool here. Next map is going to be hybrid, so it could be between Kings Row, Midtown, Neon Junction, or Numbani. From what I saw on the earlier graphic, right now Ametori are undefeated on Numbani 2-0, but Odin are also undefeated 1-0. So we'll have to see what the choice is going to be here from Ametori, what map they want to try to go to, and what the order of bans are going to be. Do they want to get that first ban and remove the Jetpack Cat, or do they want to give up that first ban and see what their opponent bans first?
Yeah, I think it's a very complex mini game that we've got developing in this series. I always say each series has its own self-contained meta. Now that Odin have pulled out the Mauga Farah Cat Bastion, do you want to try and cut out the Cat Bastion from that and just say we can deal with the Mauga by the 6 Symmetra? But then if you take away one of those, if you take away the Cat Bastion, they could take away the Sig or the Symmetra. So as I said, I think it's a very difficult decision for both teams in terms of bans because the compositions that both teams played showed that they were willing to make the right adjustments. And it basically means I think it's a fair trade for this one, as we're going to get Zarya unlocked for Ametori, and the Genji of Sori is now permanently backed up for the rest of the series. And the one trick lose the map is devastating for your tempo for the rest of the series, by the way, because they can just play their best character now. But it shows, I think, one team can't afford to buy too much into this composition. Yeah, Ametori go Kings Row and they ban the Bastion. I don't think Odin are too concerned by the Bastion ban on this map. I think they would rather have it for push and hybrid. Sorry, not hybrid, push and escort. Particularly push. I think push is like the best mode for Cat Bastion. So banning it here could potentially get them punished next map. But they're down 1-0. Can't afford to go down 2-0. So you have to take what you have to take. They don't want to deal with the Bastion. I completely get it. They don't want to deal with the Sig. I completely get it.
Yeah, I mean, the most struggle that we saw Odin on that first map was when they were on map 1. They didn't have the Bastion on them, and they also had to go against the Sigma of Map Burger. So this seems like a good call here from Odin. Ban that Sigma. Force your opponents to not have to play what was their best composition. So we'll see if it works here. That Bastion ban could be telling of what Ametori are thinking of playing here on our next map, which was decided to be Kings Row. So we'll see if they decide to go for a brawlier style composition and just don't want that Bastion peppering the damage into their front line.
As I said, and now if the Bastion doesn't come out, what do they default to? Because I do think the Frostfire should have a lot of confidence playing against Laser with the Cassidy Mirror. The Cat is still available, so we could get some Cat shenanigans, just I guess without the Bastion. It's less effective.
Yeah, we've definitely seen those Cat shenanigans, so it is possible. I mean, we recently saw the Dive Mauga coming out from the Esports World Cup, so that is possible, especially with a Cat here. And I mean, right now, Ametori show they want to run it.
Do you think Mauga is like a soft dive hero? Amarissa spotted is to be expected on this map, to be fair.
We'll have to see what the move is going to be.
Yeah, I was just trying to collect my thoughts overall, looking at compositions and almost just trying to prepare some extended, almost like color lines for the rest of the series. We can't really guess Ametori's comp right now. I will say that Essel did excellent on the May and map 1. So that control center was complete made up from Essel. So wouldn't be surprised if they play it. And I think overall, the May and the Zarya have got a pretty good match into the Orisa. The unfortunate part here is that Odin are going to do a pretty good job, hopefully, of looking at Essel and Matt as they walk up to camp, because the characters that is good into Orisa, I don't think is good against the characters that Orisa likes to play commonly with. Is this castle just really curious?
Already a good start here for Odin, though, as Laser finds 2 headshots onto both opposing DPS. Essel and Frost shot in the head and removed from the fight. Zimzip gonna get shot in the body instead, but still, that is an easy win here for Odin on King's Row first fight.
Yes, as I was saying, like, Aritha is, I still think, a little bit pokey. She can brawl, but she allows you to play greedier, sort of more backline, poke, long range objective heroes. The Zarya still definitely does, but there you go. This is a matchup that everyone says is massively May favored. Sorry, doesn't care because he's played it more than Essel has played that one. Matt Berger does have 1,000,000 energy, but no bubbles, and this is almost a Zarya gambit. Sometimes you can walk in, but you've got no bubbles, and your whole team is either going to get peppered or you're going to get peppered. Cam might be put out here though.
Yeah, it does get the gold and the javelin spin force out, but that doesn't matter when Laser has that Deadeye and already finds the head of Cry. Frost is answered back, however, with a kill onto Sari, so now your Genji player out of the picture. Here comes the Kitsune rush from Zip, but the Cam Terra Surge hits onto 2. Matt Berger's grab means absolutely nothing when the rest of your team is dead.
The Orisa Goats does it again. Awesome Terra Surge just to quell the aggression from Ametori. Laser gets the opening pick thanks to the high noon, and Matt Berger had that 100 energy. They were a lethal weapon on that Zarya, but it's just that way. We're staying Zarya. Why? Because we just grabbed for no reason. But unfortunate, because we got in a position where Matt Berger was finally able to play. They got into their win con and mid-fight with Zarya energy and bubbles, but the Terra Surge just completely slapped them.
Now the Considerus coming out from Nectar, just trying to clean up the rest of the fight here. Cry just trying to do anything here on this Jetpack Cat, as Matt Berger's trying to save their May, and they're going to be able to get the Blizzard off. Gets Crow out of position here, but you already lost 2 here if you're on the side of Ametori, so now it's going to be a little bit difficult, but now Scari's out of the picture as well. There's an opportunity here for Ametori to try and push in, but they need to wait until the spawns come back.
Yeah, they need to heal Matt Berger and basically get him 1.5 bubbles about to play. And Ametori should just win this from here, unless Pam does something absolutely magical. They've got an Zarya with bubbles on the objective. But Frost just dies to Sorry. The Genji makes another huge play.
Beautiful pill there from Sorry. Cam now going in for yet another Terra Surge here with Ametori just continually falling by the wayside one by one. And now 3 minutes are off the clock here, Jace. It ain't looking clean for Ametori.
This is like the depressing Zarya moment. You don't really have bubbles to give out to like a flex DPS who will go and play past you to help clear space for you. They've got all the energy and all the bubbles in the world. But Odin are just spacing it so well. They don't care that Zarya's got 100 energy. Because realistically, all they're able to hit in this top position is Cam until he just terror spins and runs away. And now he has the shield perk. It's even harder for them to play the game. Sky Noon coming in though. This could be a great pick if they manage to find it onto Cam.
Yep, they get the kill onto Cam immediately. Kitsune rush as well here from Zimzip, trying to take the difference. The Laser, however, does get the better of their adversary, and now here comes Sorry with their Dragon Blade. The bubble onto Zimzip, though, perfectly timed for Matt Berger to keep them alive, and now Sorry's blade goes to absolute waste. Ametori now have 1 tick on the board. Now trying to keep this progress going. 2 ticks now as Odin waiting for that push to go in. But there's a beautiful Graviton surge coming out from Matt Berger. Nectar and Laser caught right up and are caught right dead. And it's going to be Ametori cleaning up the point here. It's just Cam on the Orisa trying to stay alive. It's going to shoot themselves with the deflect as Ametori take the first point.
Yeah, perfect grab. There is not too many characters better in a late fight, in a split fight, than Zarya with high energy and a Graviton surge in their back pocket. I don't know if it came through in my mind, but I'm just saying, yeah, just go grab them, bro. Like, you know they're going to walk back in from that choke. That's the only way they can. You know that the Genji probably doesn't have deflect, or you can just shoot it quick enough that it might not even be able to deflect it on reaction, particularly when there could be ping involved. NA players often get about 50, 60. Makes the reaction time a little bit harder consequentially, as unfortunately, I'm saying this, and Matt Berger just gets Chimmy rushed on. Unfortunate Zarya moment. Like, Zarya is great on first point. On second, when you can just get run over by shield and Chimmy rush. Yeah, not so much. That was rough.
Still see Matt Berger go over to the Zarya here, but look at that. Already half their damage before they even walk out of the spawn doors. That just shows the impact of Orisa right now against this Zarya, Ametori just trying to find anything. It's going to be Frost dying here to the hands of Laser. As Essel pops out the blade. Going to try to show Sorry how it's done, but Sorry says, you ain't taking my Genji moment. Here's a concussive blast right to the face with the perk as well. And now Cam's coming in, just stampeding over the rest of the field. Matt Berger very low, but is going to get out with their life, and Sorry is not. Essel gets that return kill, and now Ametori are going to try to push in as quickly as possible now that far is out of the sky.
I think this tank matchup requires that they have to play so slowly, because I think under 30 energy, the Orisa is actually just so favored against the Zarya because of the range, because of the shield as well. But Matt Berger, Bakanje is now in a spot where they can play and do real pressure against the Cass, against the Pharah. But unfortunately, the fact that Ametori have to play so slow means that Odin are able to go first. And sometimes going first just means you win like that.
Yep. Pretty much. You get that first kill, you clean up the rest, and that's going to be a full cleanup here from Odin. 43 seconds on the clock here for Ametori, but it looks like they might be able to get that one last push in here, Jace.
Yeah, it's another classic example, by the way, of Orisa poor range just being absolutely bullshit and it needs to be nerfed. Zimzif does have the Kitsune Rush, which is the way that they were able to build any form of value onto Cam the last time. But Crow has to help them stable. Oh my god, Nectar, Mr. Reliable.
Yep, Essel dying early. Not a good sign here for Ametori as they're currently sitting up in that high ground, just looking for anything right now. Gonna be dropping down to the low ground. They have to make a push here for this card, and that's exactly what Matt Berger's gonna do. Use one of their bubbles to try and get over to the main choke area. Kitsune Rush comes out here from Zimzif, as does the Deadeye from Laser, as does the beat from Crow. It is ult mania right now. Everything and the kitchen sink coming out from the side of Odin. Before ultimates, no problem. They clean up the field one by one and keep that cart right where it is in the streets of Kings Row. Ametori will have 1 point and 63 meters to their name.
Yeah, I'm disappointed to see no Symmetra here for the side of Ametori on KR. As I said, I think it is the best vacuum answer to Orisa, which we tried with the Zarya. I would have liked to see Diva Sim there instead, or potentially like... I mean, I don't think Ryan Sim is real because of the Pharah, but I would have liked to see Symmetra at least be attempted, but maybe Essel doesn't have it in the wheelhouse, although I will say it got them an immense amount of value on Lijiang Tower Gardens when they went to it. Ultimately, Frost and Essel, I just think we're not able to do enough with the space that the moments where they had space against Odin, and in the pre-fight, they have to play slow because Matt Berger needs energy to play against Cam. Not once, needs. Once they get about 40 energy, I think the matchup is playable. And then as you get over about 70 energy, the matchup becomes good, and at full charge with bubbles, the matchup becomes pretty unplayable for the Orisa. So effectively what I've just explained is a character with backloaded damage. Those fights needed to carry on. When those fights need to be stored out, you need 4 rotations of your bubbles. So you need 4 usages of your bubbles. You need that full cooldown cycle. It just gives time for Odin's DPS players, and I'm including Nectar in this, to be able to just throw kunais, spam damage, and find angles, because Odin are holding the space. They are on the front foot for about 85% of the fight. It's only when those bubble cycles are completed that Matt Berg is able to play the game on Zarya. And ultimately, that's why it was so tough for Ametori on their first team.
So now here comes Ametori trying to continue this defense. Odin making their way up to the high ground here to try and contest them. Frost on this, Freya, well, not anymore. Laser hits them right in the head. Matt Berger's going to answer back here with a kill onto Sari, but Odin now have already hit one of those big picks out of the way. Make that 2 big picks as Zimzif hit with the Javelin. Not a good sign here for Ametori. You're down one of your supports. Cry's now the only support. Matt Berger is going to be eaten up like one right now as Odin just clean up the field one by one. This Cam horse trampling over everything in sight.
Yeah, unfortunately, just too many cooldowns on the Battle Cattle, and the aggression at which he's able to play in is just too good for Ametori. The fight doesn't go long enough there yet again. It's over inside like a Terra Surge, not a Terra Surge, a Javelin Spin, a Fortify, and then another Javelin Spin, and the fight is just over. Cam has gone too deep here, to be fair. So Odin into a little bit, which means Ametori get gate hold, which is very important.
Very good hold here from Ametori, so they have to make this work here for 5 minutes though, Jace, which not the most ideal situation.
Well, I think in terms of ultimates, they're going to be down ultimates-wise, but they should control the tempo of the fight naturally because they've got the better hold. They've got the better position on the map, which means the ultimate advantage shouldn't be the most crucial because they should be the ones dictating the pace. They can also leave pretty well too. Essel!
Essel! Looking for the wall setup, but just does nothing in the middle of the pack.
No, like that, though.
Not going to answer back with a Deadeye, gets rid of Zimzif. And now it's looking rough here for Ametori. They are finding some trace, however, but it's not going to be enough as now Cam once again in the back line just stampeding over all of them again.
Cam getting the cleanup as this golden box of victory appears, and Cam is just going to walk forward. I think if you were to do a family fortune of players you would not just want to blindly walk out in front of, not shooting your gun at in BPL, Laser would probably be in the top 3. I know Essel was going for a wall, but it was just a misplay. They got their button scrambled up, their head was in 2 places, and unfortunately, Laser finds the opening pick. No May, no hold, your tempo control goes down, you're not able to deal with the over-aggression that Odin are able to provide, you lose so much damage, and it is match point already. Laser just punishing Essel for what was a really profound, like, preposterously bad peak from... I would not expect that from an A-League Flex DPS. I wonder if it was like a misbind, like something happened in the brain, or the wires messed up, a little bit of a misinput, etc. Because why are we standing main against a Cassidy just trying to wall right in front of their face like that? That's so unheard of.
Obviously, just trying to go for way too risky of a play, trying to wall off a player possibly just so they can engage on them. But you risk your life doing that. There's so many safer options. You could just stand around the corner and wait for that wall to come out, not blatantly put yourself out like a shining beacon in the middle of a like a shining river in the middle of an oasis, just trying to keep yourself alive. Just didn't work out there for Ametori. And now, as you mentioned, Jace, they are at match point right now, facing a sent down to the lower bracket here. Odin eyeing that winners finals right now with absolute pride right now, in perfect position to get it done here, Jace. It's looking rough for Ametori, but they're going to have to hope this halftime is worth it here, because they do get a halftime break here to see what they could do in the second half of our match. Are Odin getting their first clean sweep against Ametori all season, or is the reverse sweep in order here for the Birds? Don't go anywhere. More BPL Season 8 playoff coverage comes up right after this quick break. 2 times these two teams have faced off against each other, and each time Ametori has taken a map, or Odin has taken a map in this case. Right now, it has been a complete sweep from Odin here as we head into the second half. Bowsy here with Jace here on the cast as we're going to be going into map number 3. Ametori need to win this next map, Chase, or else they are going to be going down to the lower bracket in the A-League, which is something they definitely do not want to do here. But Odin right now, they're sitting pretty. At match point, they have an opportunity to lock their spot into the upper finals. And we're gonna have to see what the choices are gonna be here on Lunakir for map number 3.
Yeah, simply put, I disagree with Ametori's decision to lose the first 2 maps. And I disagree with their decision to go to Lunakir, to be fair, because Cat Bastion will be back on the menu unless they ban the Cat, which I think they should. They could potentially ban the Orisa. I mean, that would also be good.
Yep, they have the options under their disposal here. We'll have to see what that move is going to be here from Ametori. And sure enough, no felines allowed. Cat ban here from Ametori on Lunakir. And that seems to be a hero that they've had a lot of problem with. We saw them on map 1. They dominated Legion Control Center. And then the cat bashing came out and they completely struggled. Map number 2 was a different story. There was really no cat in play, but still they seem to struggle against that brawl composition. So we'll see. This is their last time they get to choose the ban order, so potentially the last time they get to ban first. So we'll see if this works out in their favor.
If I'm Odin, I'm just banning Sim here. It's one of the best answers into one of your best power picks, which is the Orisa from Cam. Diva's also pretty good. Means that Laser can't just get smothered on the hit stand. The good part about playing against Cat Bastion is that in a format with bans, you get to likely ban the Bastion and the Cat, which you need both of them. Like the Cat with other characters is not as good, kind of okay playable. Cat Bastion, it's together. You get to take out both those pieces. So you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to ban it across 2 maps because obviously, if they ban a DPS, you ban Cat. If they ban a support to protect ban Cat, then you ban the Bastion if you've not done before. Etc. etc. Great analysis, I know, but I think the Cat ban is good. It's probably I'm fine with Ametori's bans all series. I would have saved a Cat or Bastion ban for this map, which, to be fair, they did do. So Odin, though, they've shown that they're flexible on a wide variety of comps, and they might not even need to be flexible. They might just manage to lock Lunakir, Orisa, Genji, and a hit stand on this map and play what I can only describe as default and do really well, as they have done on King's Row and on Lijiang Tower. What else can I say, Bowsy? Lunakir, Orisa, Genji, and a hit stand has been perpetual in Overwatch 2, in 5v5, and this team play it, and they play it really, really well.
Yep, so we'll have to see what the case is going to be here for this map. Lunakir, match point for Odin. It is worth noting the last time Odin lost a map was in week 3 lost a push map, I should say, was in week 3 of the regular season. They lost Coliseo to Noble Steed. So there is the possibility here that Ametori could take this map, but on the other side, Ametori have not looked good on push for most of the season here. They won in their first playoff game on push on New Queen Street, so they're trying something different here, trying to go over to Lunakir. As we take a look at those early lineups, it is worth noting one thing: Stella Luna coming in here for Issel on the side of Ametori.
Yeah, this is potentially a required playtime dynamic. Still required playtime in playoffs, but you get to put them in after 2 maps rather than 1. So now Stella Luna has to come up, and they have to come up big because Sorry and Laser is still in. This lineup from Odin is unchanged. Only those 5 players available for them tonight. And might be important to mention that if we get to a map 4, Ametori are 0-3 on Silvervassa. So if we get there, that's going to be another massive mountain to climb. But the reverse sweep has to start here on Lunakir. And let's hope the Sun God is ever in the favour of the little cute bird team. Look at the Ametori logo, isn't it so cute?
Yeah, Ametori definitely the cute bird, but right now their play is not looking cute right now. Matt Burger, however, trying to get that damage onto Laser, but Masuza's is going to be there from Nectar to finish them off or keep them alive until Frost finds that first kill. Laser out of the picture. Your main DPS down. The Javelin Spin comes out from Cam to keep themselves alive, and they're going to be falling in the hands of Matt Burger as well. And it looks like finally Ametori finding some footing after that not-so-great King's Row, and going to be able to push this bot first.
Yeah, I like what they've gone out here on, though. Very standard comp. Cry is going to be doing a ton of damage on the Mizuki. The chain, also an excellent punish onto the Genji and onto the Orisa once the Fortify is gone. And Matt Burger has also had, honestly, a quite solid 2 maps when they've been able to play Sigma. And looks good on Sigma and has done all season. And of course, Frost Sojourn. Just really good off-angle pressure. They're going super aggressive. It looks like Ametori have decided to try and play a little bit faster than they did on King's Row, wanting to try and play first with their cooldowns. A little bit more this map.
And they're already getting that kill on the Cam early here. Odin now down their tank. Laser's going to try to equalize and will be able to on the Matt Burger. But now it's a trade. No tanks on either side. And now that just means the open floor here for Laser, looking like a true life incarnation of an aimbot right now, hitting nothing but headshots here as the bot goes for Odin's favor.
I don't know how he does it. He's like AFK main here, basically playing in main, walks forward, manages to 2-tap onto the tank to immediately trade him, whilst he was looking at him, and then just sort of walks even more forward. And Ametori, they just don't look at the Cassidy, and he gets another pick with it as well. It looks pretty basic from Laser, but it's unreal mechanics in not the most pressured scenario, but again, the timing at which he's able to hit the shots. They're so fast, these bursts.
Yeah, but what's faster is the creature coming out from Matt Burger, landing right on the Sorry, finishing this out. Zimziv's Casino Rush helping assist in that matter. Cam trying to go over the Sigma, but Matt Burger shows that they are the superior Sigma in this matchup, as it's going to be Ametori cleaning up the field yet again. Almost the 180 accretion flick there from Matt Burger, but it's going to be Zimziv finishing off their adversary. As
I said, looks so much more comfortable on the Sigma than anything else so far. Just able to sort of walk on split members of Odin. Doesn't even really need the speed boost to do it. Their cooldowns are so good. Again, gets the outplay onto knocking Cam down. You're going to have to not stay on that high ground. It does go over to Odin, but they're getting more push on this point. They don't even probably need ulti to do Ametori. They can just chill.
Every ultimate being used here from Odin. That's 3 ultimates, both support ults and this Deadeye coming out from Laser to finish off Frost here. As Odin just continue to clean up this fight here. 2 for Laser, 1 for Sorry. Make that 2-2. Who's getting that final kill onto the Mizuki? It's going to be going to Nectar, ruining the chances of a DPS settling the score. Odin now making that bot back over to the main checkpoint as Ametori set up for next fight.
Yeah, what's so good for Ametori as they build a huge lead here as we almost get to the halfway point. They say push starts at 3 minutes. It's going to have to start now, I think, for Odin. Ametori, if they commit even 1 ultimate in this fight and they win it, that 3 ult fight and that 90 seconds of time is completely mitigated from Odin, and they'd be right back to where they were just a couple of fights ago.
But Frost already finds that first kill onto Sorry here to start off. A beautiful railgun shot to finish off the Genji here. Ametori so far have been patient on their ultimates until here comes the Satsuruki spree, and it gets shut down by Laser yet again. It triggers the flux here from Matt Burger. By 2! Crow and Cam on the ground. Laser to quick to follow, and all that's left is Nectar down to Matt Burger with a 4K to clean it up.
Yeah, Conjay is locked in for this map. No monkey business for the Sigma. No essence of insanity inside that Dutch mind, just pure concentration, absolutely locked in. Ametori refusing to go down 3-0 in this series so far. They're in a great position to be able to do the rest of this map.
Watch comes out here from Cam, but once again, Laser is dead again. Frost consistently finding these first picks here on the Sojourn. It's become a problem now for the side of Ametori. Sorry, going to get hit there by that accretion, but is able to get out with their life. The same probably is not going to be said here for Cam, but a beautiful Suzu from Nectar keeps them alive just barely by the skin of their teeth. Now here comes the Consideros from Nectar, starting to push in here with the rest of his team, and here comes the Dragon Blade as well from Sorry, chopping down Frost to bits, looking for anything else. Zip down, Cry down, Matt Burger able to get the kill on the Laser with that kinetic grasp, going to be able to stay alive for a little bit longer, but the end is nigh for that Sigma, going to be dashed out here by Sorry.
Yeah, Odin give themselves a little bit of life. It is a dying ember in a campfire outside, and it's pouring down, and it's threatening to go and be snuffed at any singular moment. Ametori have got a wealth of ultimates to be able to stamp on that just barely there dying fire But Odin have got a chance, and where there's a will, there is a way. The odds are low, but never zero. But right now, Ametori's neutral. Their neutral fights, their pre-fights are so good.
Oh
Yet again, Sorry's been first picked like 5 times this map already. It's illegal.
Sorry's going to be apologizing to their team a lot after this map here, as they have died so many times first. It's putting Odin in the disadvantage so many times. Laser's going to try to equalize here with the Deadeye, trying to force it out, and actually uses out, gets out that Kikai Sanctuary from Cry, shoots the Deadeye right into that, so nothing gets valued off of it here. And Odin, once again, just falling by the wayside. The bot pushing past the checkpoint here for Ametori, and the forward spawn's enabled.
And they're like, Loki, you don't even need to move it. Just don't win the fight. Push them back to spawn. Then you can walk it afterwards. Why? Because you've got such a huge lead. And from this point forward, I've not quite done the calculation, so don't trust the numbers. So Sorry finally gets his one pre-fight. Not the one being on the right side of the kill feed. He's on the left. Huge boon for Odin. But Ametori only need to win probably like 35% of fights, I would say. They really need to win like very little fights in order to close this map out.
He comes out from Crow to answer back onto Matt Burger's flux here as Odin start making their way forward yet again. Sorry, just trying to look for that early dash, potentially trying to get that kill onto Zimzip, who uses their Kitsune Rush in tandem with Nectar. Flux comes out here from Cam. It's a whip. Nothing gets caught up there by the Flux from Cam. That could be crucial here for Odin. And Frost finds the head of Laser yet again. Frost has been an absolute difference maker so far on this Sojourn, just completely eliminating anything in sight. Crow goes in for the aggressive Reddit Lucio play, but it's just going to be found out by Frost in the meanwhile as Ametori continue this advantage, saying they don't want to go home just yet.
Yeah, you can see the difference that Frost is able to make in this map when they don't have Cam and permanently down them, or they have a Cat Bastion to deal with. It's 2v2 in the fight so far, so Odin still looking to crawl back into it. Ametori are going to be sent running to the hills, I think, for this one. It's changed when the meter of Cry is really good.
You have Cam just trying to get out these kills, gets rid of Cry as they're trying to run out. Matt Burger falls shortly after, and finally Odin start pushing this bot after 7.5 minutes off the time bank here. Yeah. Odin basically can't lose the fight for the rest of this map, Jays, or else their chances of sweeping are over.
No, pretty much. I said about a minute and a half ago that you really only need to win about 2 of the final 7 fights in order for this map, because how good walking the bot back in the post fight is. So we go for the Dragon Blade.
Oh, beautiful Dragon Blade as well. Gets that first kill on the Frost, but it's going to lose their life to Cry. Now Ametori are going to be giving up these checkpoints here, which means Frost will get that quick spawn. Sorry won't be back in the fight before Frost is. So now it's the question of how much are Ametori going to try to push into this now. They're looking for this aggressive push. With Matt Burger just continuing to push forward, but so far they haven't done anything here.
Oh, he missed the rock. Oh, he missed the rock.
Missed the rock. But the Flux comes out here from Cam. Does land on the Matt Burger, forces him down to the ground, and Crow is able to do the finishing blow. Odin are starting to bring this back little by little. Now only 40 meters from taking the lead. They have a chance, Jace, with only 90 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, they really do. It's going to have to be probably a fight and a half. This is going to be maybe 2 fights left at a push. 2.5 fights at an absolute extreme. But they've gotten it to 90 meters. This shows that push is never really over. Odin has strung 3 fights in a row now. The exact opposite of what Ametori needed to happen. And they've got 3 ultimates. I think if you're Ametori here, you can potentially just play out the clock, get it to 1-point territory, and triple ult.
Forced out the beat here from Crow with that Gravitic Flux. The Kikai Sanctuary is perfect from Cry, denying this overclock here from Laser. Matt Burger just trying to push forward, finish out these kills, and here comes the Kitsune Rushes from either side. It has been an ult for ult trade this entire fight with 40 seconds left of the time bank. Odin have not been able to find anything. Stella Luna, however, answers in with a beautiful kill into Laser to start off the fight. That's the opening pick that Ametori were looking for. Now it's Cam on the point, going to be killed out here by Zimzip, and the cleanup is there from the side of Ametori. Odin have one last chance to keep this bot in their control, and only one chance to do it.
It's just going to be the OC from Frost. So the Sojourn is El Presidente. They are the final nail in the coffin for Odin in this map. And Ametori, with this Sigma composition, looks so much more comfortable, being able to be a bit more aggressive, being able to be a bit more bully. In an essence, been a lot of 1v1s, a little bit of Satan lobby going on in this map so far, as is the essence of push. But Frost's OC, is it the dagger? Let's find out.
Is it the big Timbers maker? But they did! Yes, it is! Beautiful kill right onto Laser to start off. Ametori now find that pivotal DPS member, but now they have to clean up the fight fast. Sorry is close to their blade, and Cam's dead as well. Both picks in the favor here for Ametori. Crow's gonna fall by the wayside, and Ametori say, we're not done yet. We're flying high on Runasapi and bringing you to a 4th map.
There we go. Ametori refused to go down without a fight, breathing a bit of life into this series. Stellar Luna comes in, gets their map win. I think they had a pretty solid map. Didn't really see too much of them because it was just Frost and Matt Berger who yet again completely ran this lobby from start to finish. I'm not sure if Sigma has been banned out for the side of Odin, because if it has,
I believe it has.
I think
it was banned on second map.
I think it has actually.
It was. It was banned on second map, so they have Sigma off the cards. So if this Sigma is a problem,
which it is, yeah. I mean, Matt Berger 31-5, 14k damage that map. Like his next best is 26-5 from Frost. His next best is 18-7. I would say maybe 15-6 from Cry, but Matt Berger and Frost just so far above the curve. Everyone else's KDs pretty even. Everyone else's KDs and damage pretty even, but Hanjay and Frost just put on a clinic for Ametori there. The doctors are in, and you've been diagnosed with a rock to the face and a railgun straight through the neck. Find that one on a Utah campus. Don't suck that. Swallow on it.
Yeah, so now comes the question here. If you are Odin, why not pick Suravasa, and what the bans are going to be here, since the Sigma's already out the window here, and you have to try and think about one way to try and throw Ametori off guard. We have seen this performance from Ametori show that they can be in this fight still, but what do you do here if you're Odin? This is you still have an opportunity. You still have 2 maps to get 1 map win here. But the last thing you want is Ametori to be that amped up and ready for a reverse sweep here. As we take a look again at these map points, again, Ametori right now are 1-0 on Atlas and 1-2 on New Junk City. And to no one's surprise,
Suravasa is the clear choice. Suravasa is the absolute clear choice here. Now,
no surprise here. We see
what have we got against the Sigma composition? Because do we want to get rid of the Sojourn? Because Frost had a pretty good map on it, and I think Laser definitely more confident. Do we want to get rid of something that is good into the Cat Bastion and play Cat Bastion? I think that's pretty good into the Sigma. Important to note that Odin have just been banning tanks so far. They get rid of the Shion. Interesting.
Yeah, this makes sense. Stella Luna coming in on the last map basically exclusively played the Shion, and you could probably pinpoint a bunch of times where they do a lot of damage onto the side of Odin. So Odin say, we don't want any more of this cool cybernetic lady. We'd rather just deal with the basics. So definitely a good call here from Odin.
I think it's fair. I would say the ban is way more difficult for Odin than it is for Ametori. You could have potentially banned another tank to allow Orisa to be unbanned. Now Orisa is going to be banned for Ametori, but as I said, both of these teams are showcase that they're not willing to lock in to one type of composition and build around one character. If they ban Orisa, I think Cat Bastion is just on the table and he just plays Malga instead. So it's like, do you want to opt into that? I think Odin could have potentially taken away Mizu, but I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think Kiri could have been a good ban as well, just because every flex support plays Kiri. I think the Shion ban is okay. There's a chance that Stella Luna just hits the bench, and they put back in Essel. But clearly, they're showing that after the Shion, they felt that, hey, we're okay with Essel being back in if Stella Luna. It's either that or have Stella Luna stay in and play the Shion. And sometimes, as I said, you built a little bit of momentum playing Shion. So anything you can do, I think the Orisa ban was not telegraphed, but it's like what I would expect a team with their headphones and microphones on to do.
Yeah, I mean this makes the most sense. You could argue against the Orisa, especially after Runasapi, where it looked like that Sigma was just running over them. But still, this is the safe bet. You want to ban that hero that has caused you problems in every other map this series. Like you look at Numbani. Okay, maybe not. Not Numbani. You look at Lijiang Tower. Probably not on that map because we did see a lot more Malga out of Cam. But King's Row, best example of the Orisa being too much of a pain, even when Matt Berger was playing the Zarya, which is seen as a direct counter to Orisa. So definitely a good ban here from the side of Ametori. We'll see if it pays dividends here, because now you mentioned they're probably going to have to deal with the Malga here instead.
Yeah, as I said, the optimal ban there is just so clearly the Sigma because of how much carry potential that character has. It's just so strong in the moment, does so much damage. Flux is a great ultimate. You can do it mid-fight, you can do it late fight, you can do it early fight, you can do it whenever you want. So easy to hit because of the wide, massive range. You always get at least 2 people. And as long as your team are just looking at what you're looking at, you can blow people up even before they hit the floor. And as I said, it just does so much damage as a character with 2 live buttons. So it's going to be interesting to see what Ametori are pulling out for this one. Zimzif back in. Sorry, Zimzif try in. Stella Luna staying in.
Yeah. So same lineup here from map number 3. It is worth noting again, we mentioned that Saravasa has been winless so far for Ametori. They played Saravasa 3 times, once against Odin, once against Snowdrop, and once against, I just saw it here a second ago, I'm trying to find it. Oh, they against Siren Song. So they have that history. Let's see if the tides turn here. Odin versus Ametori, still match point for Odin. Now on probably Ametori's worst map all season. Can they turn the tide and bring it to map 5? That is the question here, as once again, we're seeing the traditional 2 Sigmas on both sides.
Let's see if they can buck the trend. It's Odin going for the inside fight with the speed compared to the outside fight for Ametori. So they're going to have to walk into this choke. I actually don't quite like this pattern from Ametori here, but sorry, just
you might like it now.
The Sojo. It's a bit better.
You might, well, yeah, you might just like it now as Matt Berger finds that first kill, but you have to be careful about this Laser Cassidy, who's been such a pain, and so much of a pain that they hurt themselves more than anything. They get themselves shot here from lasers, from Stella Luna's deflect, who's now showing how it's done here on this Genji, cleaning up the field and getting Ametori this cap after 22% given to Odin.
Yeah, I mean, Ametori, as I said, I think their composition is fine. There's probably better comps overall on this patch, but they won't have to practice on. A BPL is just so, like, time is a flat circle about it. You could tell me we're in Season 4 with this composition. Just change out the Season 4, or like a break, or whatever, because Kiri, Genji, Soj, it's a tale almost as old as I am. And I'm pretty old at this point. Like, I'm getting up there. Oh, Laser swung main and died. Goodbye.
Yeah, well, unfortunately not as old as Laser, as they end up dying here once again to Stella Luna, who really is making a statement here on this Genji so far. Ametori now have a very good advantage right now, 62%, and 1 DPS dead here from the side of Odin. Not to mention Odin are on the wrong side. They're currently on Ametori's side trying to set up and wait for Laser to come back now on the Sojourn.
Yeah, so now it's both teams basically mirrored. It's fundamentally which team can play the better angles and which team plays the better side fight. Cry potentially getting forced out here, but Ametori doing a great job of just sitting on this high ground. Great mirror to Cine Rush. They're going to have a massive advantage.
Oh, but the rock comes out here from Cam, eliminating Matt Berger's Flux. Very good rock there coming out from Cam, but it might not even matter. Stella Luna's found both supports in the backline for the side of Odin, and the cleanups there from Matt Berger to diff their adversary. Sorry tries to answer back, but Stella Luna says, I'm the Genji player now, and takes this first point.
Kanjay in chat owning admitting there's a little bit of a diff, but it doesn't matter because whilst both tanks are staring at each other, Luna on the Genji just kind of goes into the backline, snaps both supports next. Tsune Rush, Genji inside it. My god, it's so OP. The move speed, remember, Genji already the fastest character in the game by default, just has a higher base move speed. Genji and Tracer than anyone else do. That really matters in maps like this.
What's coming down here now from Cam, and is going to do a little bit better than Matt Berger, able to get that kill onto Frost to start off. So Ametori down their main DPS. The question is, do they invest into this fight, or do they try to give it by the wayside, force some more ultimates out? Cam currently in the middle, putting their head literally on a swivel. But what is the accretion from Cam? 2 good accretions in a row. That time onto Stella Luna, shutting down that Genji with ease. And now Sari's waking up here on the Genji, finding 2 kills. But hold on, Ametori have come back. They found 3 kills. Kakai Sanctuary's used here from Cry. They're going to get sliced down, though. Sari's just trying to finish up the field. Going to get rid of Frost here in the aftermath as well. And it looked winnable there for Ametori, but now there's only 2 members on the point here for Odin.
Yeah, unfortunately, that Kakai Sanctuary is later than my dad was to my 15th birthday party. It didn't really show up at all, but shout out Trauma aside, it's a really nice blade from Sorry, and you lose out on that trade for Ametori. You're going to want that Kakai Sanctuary back. Now Odin potentially have the chance to punish, just it's not there for Overclock. Now that Odin have control of the angles as well, really starting to show up, getting a bit more comfortable playing what I can only describe as default on this map.
Here comes the blade from Stellaluna. Gonna force out the beat here from Crow that lands onto all 5, and Stellaluna's just forced to wait. Frost uses overclock at the exact same time, too. Not the most ideal placement there for Ametori. Not the most ideal ult cycling here. Now Laser gets this free overclock right in the back line and gets the head of Zip for free. Odin now gets that immediate advantage, and now they're just going to clean up the fight here. Matburger's going to try to bring it back, but only with a flux to his name and absolutely nothing else. It's looking inevitable that it's going to be Ametori having to give up this second point.
Yeah, I would say that Ametori, they get slightly punished with their DPS ults by a lack of speed, like no Juno or Lucio to hurry their DPS in. But like, we're just ulting pre-fight. Like, we pop both Blade and OC, and we're just not set up for it. There's no cooldown's been burned. Frost just blind slings the OC, expecting them to be there, I believe. He just goes completely wild. And now you're down probably your 2 most powerful ultimates. Not powerful, but now you're down both DPS ultimates. Massive amounts of burst damage gone because those ultimates have been extended. Guess what? Flux is going to have to bail them out.
Going to answer back here with the Flux. Does get that kill on the cam with the help of Stellaluna. Does miss the accretion this time. And what a binding chain coming out there from Cry to stop Nectar in their track. Right now, Crow is the only person to find a kill here on the side of Odin. And Sari's not going to be able to answer back either. Ametori are going to get the cap here first on the Temple to start.
Yeah, to be fair, your most powerful ultimates are definitely Flux and Kitsune Rush, so spending both your DPS ults in one fight, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's more how they use them rather than the fact that they use them both together. Odin have got a Flux of their own, and Cam has been pretty good with them so far this series. Actually, important to know that Matburger has the major perk, whereas Cam does not. Advantage here in terms of the offense.
Oh, but what a Suzu coming out from Zinzip to deny the effect of that gravitic flux, being able to keep everybody alive, and this Kitsune Rush as well, just thrown into the fight to clean up everybody. Beautiful kunai right into the head of Sari as well, as the cleanup is once again there from Ametori, only having to expend one ultimate to do it all.
Yeah, and Ametori, for all the over-aggression they took in that fight that they lost, this time they wait for Odin to engage with the Flux. Suzu is perfectly timed from Zinz. If they don't force that cooldown in the pre-fight, do Odin, they try and rush it, and then they walk straight into a Kitsune Rush from Zinz. They might do exactly the same thing here, except this time it's going to be a Kekai Sanctuary from Cry. But if they do, they're going to have to do it down one. Yeah, they pick.
Beautiful pick there here from Odin, as now Crow's going to be pushing in, and there goes that Kekai Sanctuary out the window for this fight. Stellaluna answers back. Nectar and Laser are dead. Now Matburger's out of the fight here, but it looks like Ametori going to be giving up this point for now. Frost jumping off the map. Stellaluna might be following them. It's going to be Odin starting to count up the percentage here.
Yeah, and one thing that I've not actually dialed in on the entire series is now the side fight, because we've got a Kiriko likely on the side fight versus probably the Lucio. The Lucio versus the Mizuki is very interesting, because the Lucio is going to be better in the pre-fight, in the poke phase, and potentially in the late fight as well. Sometimes Lucio comps, all they do is they just speed onto the enemy and die faster because of it. So Cry, I'm getting a really good value out so far.
Very good blade coming out from Stellaluna, forced out the beat. The flux from Matburger doesn't do enough, however, as there's already 2 picks here in favor of Odin, both DPS found. And Matburger going to be booped off the map. The Lucio difference coming in factor here, as it's the cleanup yet again from Odin. Ametori forced into that last fight here on the Temple. The question is, do they try to take, or do they just give it up and wait for point 4?
That is definitely one thing that the Lucio is able to do. To answer your question, Balzi, I think Ametori might be able to rush to the point. They're not going to be the quickest to do it, but Odin might have an opportunity to just take a wide angle and punish them for having to worry onto the point. Remember, Stellaluna has to touch, they have to contest this. So now, slow fight, Odin just wins.
Yep, they do force out this overclock here from Laser, but Laser finds Frost's head. The second Kekai Sanctuary goes offline, and the overclock from Frost is completely denied in the process. Ametori now in a world of hurt. Stellaluna dead, as well as Laser wakes up yet again, finds those kills necessary, and pushes Odin into flashpoint, match point.
And Laser had a little bit of a quiet Runasapi, dare I say, but they're never going to have 2 quiet maps in a row, and it's been a war of the ages on this hit standard, Frost versus Laser. Feels like I've tested this like a million times across BPL. Both of them very, very good at these aim-based, high-value burst hit scan characters. Matburger goes to the Zarya now, so breaking the composition of Deadlock. We're not quite on the turf tackle, we're still very much in India, unfortunately, as Cam Flux, he could actually punish the over-aggression that Ametori are putting right onto him.
Yep, here comes that flux from Cam to try and punish the aggression. Does put so much damage in, but isn't able to finish the kill. Now Zinzip's going to be using their Kitsune Rush to finish out the healing, get everyone back up to top speed. and start pushing forward. Crow gets killed out here by Frost as they try to go for the aggressive play, and now it's just going to be punished here. The rest of Odin falling one by one. Stella Luna finishing out Laser with the help of their Lucio, as it's going to be Ametori cleaning up the fight here and continuing that counting percentage.
Such a huge boon for Ametori. Odin lose flip, and then they fight afterwards and die slowly. It's like 3 things you don't want to be doing on this map. Hammer has elected to pull out the Reinhardt, the German Hammerman, the unethical warlord himself, the leader of the leader of the Empire, the First Order, has had to come out here in order to rescue Odin Cerebasa. Reinhardt, it's evil, but it's necessary.
It may be evil, but now Stella Luna's blade getting countered by the beat. But there's a beautiful blade kill already from Sari, eliminating Frost immediately. Ametori now down their main DPS, trying to finish this out, but the damage is already done. Odin with this Reinhardt just steamroll over them.
Yes, the Chungus wholesome Chud character comes out, and well, Ametori go for a soft tank counter swap, and Odin say we're going to do you one better. This shield is going to be so good for them. The fact that they've got control of the objective as well is great for the Reinhardt now. He can shield his Sojourn pre-fight and just go swinging like this if they ever go anywhere near it.
Yep, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Cam just swinging away on that Reinhardt. Frost dies before they're able to get into the spawn door. You hate to see it. Stella Luna does find that kill onto Laser, however, so there is a chance Ametori could go for the quick re-engage here, because considering Laser's not going to be back in the fight for a while, that's actually what they're going to do. Look at Mattburger pushing up. They're ready to re-engage right now.
Yeah, I think this Earth Shatter gives Odin complete tempo control of this fight. Do you try and pressure the Sojourn on the Chibi on the off angle to force her Suzu so it's a free shatter, or do you try and play for the Zarya bubble? Let's see how Odin play it.
Oh, gets down by Cry, just barely. The shatter comes out from Cam. Now the grab as well coming out here from Mattburger, trapping that Ryan in a bubble, as now Ametori trying to finish out the kills. They found 2 kills. Cam and Nectar out of the fight. Laser will join them. Crow goes in for the Reddit. Lucio play gets rid of Stella Luna as they're trying to get out with their life, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Odin now have an opportunity. Stella Luna's not in the fight yet, and Cry is going to try to hold back here as the rest of the team is just trying to hold. Odin has to try and touch. The Consider Rush comes out here from Zimzif. The overcharge here from Frost. Overtime is triggered, but no one's there on the objective. It's just Crow right now, and they're hit by a railgun shot right to the face from Frost. And Ametori saying, not on our watch. We're going to the 5th and final flashpoint here on Surabasa.
Remember, coming in, they're 0-3, whereas Odin are 2-0. This is a massive upset if this manages to happen, and we could be very well seeing all 5 on our cards. And Odin in that penultimate fight, they're just in a prison of their own design. Cry does not get earth shattered, so they beat the whole team, and all of a sudden Cam is swinging on targets, but once they get up, they just kill him because he's overextended. Doesn't matter if they're all knocked on the floor, because Cry kept them healthy against that Reinhardt follow-up. 1-for-1 trade.
Very good trade. In fact, actually both supports from the side of Odin waking up. Crow and Nectar getting Frost and Zimzif respectively. Now Odin down, be able to get the big advantage. Only 1 support left here for Ametori, and that's going to be a clean cap here for the side of Odin here. Ametori now have to try and reset, get out of this fight, and wait for the next one.
I actually think that Odin do a really good job of specifically punishing the fact that they know that Frost doesn't have overclock, and they used it in the last fight, just going very aggressively on the off angle. Sorry, gets kind of traded, a little bit of a risky play, dare I say, from the Genji. But Odin do a good job of capitalizing. Sometimes it's not going to be perfect, it's going to be scrappy. You're going to miss your shots, but if your team have got you, then even a trade can be good. Remember, this Reinhardt so obnoxious at holding space. Try, even with the Lucio, is going to be able to maneuver, but it's not going to be perfect. Great beat.
Here comes the beat from Crow to deny this blade here from Stella Luna. Ametori looking for the advantage, but they're still able to find Cam with all the damage pumping in here. The beat from Cry is used to yank the blade here from Sari, who's just trying to find anything here. Isn't able to even kill Stella Luna. Just one else in the name. The Genji's still alive. Nothing can counter them. Laser's overclock is able to pump in the damage here. Stella Luna now out of the fight. Nectar, however, is dead, as is the rest of Odin. As Mattburger tries to jump up to the high ground, trying to finish this out. Will get that kill onto Laser here, but now it is 93% for Odin, Jace. They cannot lose a single fight here on this point.
And it's going to be tough. They're going to have the Graviton Surge to do it, and the Kitsune Rush, and realistically on Flashpoint, sometimes 2 fights is all that you need. You've got 2 ultimates that can win it on their own. It's no sound barrier from Crow. It's massive. Odin just go too deep. They just go too in for too long in that final fight. And remember, I talked about Zarya. What does she want? High energy and 2 bubbles.
The Sugar Rush comes out from Nectar, but only 2 kills from Stella Luna before a single ultimate is even popped from the side of Ametori. Matt Berger throws in the grab, just forces Sorry and Cam into bad situation, and now 55%. Only the overclock here for the side of Ametori.
It's a crucial fight win. As I said, I'm never going to dog on a team for a fight, but do we need to use that Kitsune Rush after Stella Luna already killed 2? Because now it's Overclock versus Earthshatter. Earthshatter, it's not going to be the easiest to hit, of course, but it's potentially technically free if Cam is able to navigate to Ametori. They're going to have to be really dangerous. They're going to have to be taking real care of going into the range of this Reinhardt. Frost OC expires. It's now just Earthshatter to try and win the series for Odin.
Overtime, Natwick begins to burn, and only huge kills from the side of Ametori. They find everyone on the top layer. Cam can't even counter it. Ametori has never won Soravasa this season. The stat changes now as they bring us to a crucial map number 5.
No team has ever come back from down 3-1 in an NBA Finals, but, you know, LeBron and co don't care. Play the meme, because Ametori, they just do something they've not done all season. I think really good ban as well to get rid of the Orisa. That was absolutely something that Odin would have relied on this map. And I think Odin started out really well. And I think they got themselves in so many good scenarios in terms of the ult trading. I think Ametori used a lot of ultimates in what I would say is already won fights. The OC from Frost doesn't get any value. But it's the fact that the Reinhardt has to touch point in the 99 fight, which means they ignore the Reinhardt. And then we go all the way to the high ground to kill the rest of the Reinhardt's team. As normal, the Reinhardt should die last. And I said Balzi always casts a map 5 or a full distance series. And here we are.
Here we are indeed. It's been 0 days since I cast a tiebreaker map series as we head over to a pivotal map number 5. And this is tradition for both of these teams. I mentioned at the start, these two teams have played each other twice in this season so far. One in the kickoff tournament, one in the regular season. Both times it went to a decisive third map here. So anything could happen now. Both of these teams staring down the barrel, looking for that upper finals as we get to go to our final map choice of Escort. It's once again Odin's pick for map. So we'll have to see what the move is going to be here from the side of Odin. What map they feel comfortable on here and what they want to do here. Because, again, this is the map they have to win if they want that upper finals. This is the map if they want to keep that undefeated streak alive.
It's Dorado or Jib, because both Circuit and Shambhala are Sigma maps. You're never pitting those, I think. It's probably...
it's Circuit. Circuit Royale is the map pick here from Odin.
Really? This is like the Sigma map. It's Cat Bastionable, I guess. Ooh, I'm really not sure about this.
This is a very risky play. Because again, you mentioned this is the Sigma map. If you want to think about Sigma, this is definitely the Sigma map. But I think what Odin might be looking for here, Jace, this is also the sniper map. This is the map that you can pop off on Widowmaker. And Laser is a human aimbot, as we've discussed in this matchup before. So if there's any map you're going to be playing here to try and get that win, it's going to be Circuit Royale here. That's the map pick here from the side of Odin.
We'll see. I actually think that there could be a certain domineering in airspace, particularly Cat Bastion combo that could be emerging on this map for the side of... Odin. And they get rid of the Sojourn, which Frostfire has just been really good on. All series, to be fair, particularly in these last 2 map wins. I mean, Laser, Sojourn historically just one of the best answers into Bastion, and such a big hitbox. Railgun is just very, very powerful. They couldn't ban Diva. They also wanted to probably save I guess they don't need to protect ban a DPS. So Cat Bastion was open here, and it's just taking out the biggest answer left on the board. What did Ametori go with?
Yeah, that's an interesting question here. You could ban the Lucio. You could ban the Lucio, force out that sort of, make it so they don't have to worry about that speed boost. Because we did note the biggest thing when it came to that map is that Ametori were playing the Mizuki carry, Odin were playing the Lucio carry. And you said yourself, Jace, Lucio seemed to be the better pick overall there for the side, for the support line here. So it's definitely a strategy.
Actually. I think Mizu was actually getting way more value, to be honest. I think there is a play pattern as old as time, and I'm just specifically talking about BPL, because so many times, admittedly, this is more C-League, but I'm starting to see it noticed more. And call me crazy, guys. Anyone that's got the cast unmuted, as Ametori get rid of one of the best answers into Sigma in Ramatra. That makes complete sense. I'm totally fine with that ban. That's like a top 2 ban left on the board. So again, bans this series from both teams, I think, have been as good as I'd expected. But a tale as old as time is the comp with the Lucio Kiri looking to play first against the comp with the Brig or the Baptiste looking to play second. And all that the Lucio offers sometimes is they will just speed into the fight. They will use amp speed into the fight. They will close the gap. But once the gap is closed, they are then playing in very good effective range of the Mizu, of the Baptiste, of the Brigitte. So sometimes it feels like all the Lucio offers is the fact that you speed your team into melee range to die quicker. Because once the Lucio has put his team into the range of which they're looking to get into as they speed in, the other team that's designed to play in that specific range with a Brigitte, with a Mei, with a Reaper, the enemy team are doing the hard work by closing the distance for them. They are using their cooldowns to live. It's literally bunker versus brawl. The bunker comp wants to be walked on, and the enemy team are happy to speed on them. This is a play pattern I've seen exist perpetually amongst BPL since Season 3, Overwatch 1, like 2019. And yet again, in eras, in moments, in tableaus, in instant film cameras, in small little pieces of time, it rears its head and it exists. And I think in this lobby, last map, we might have just said hello to it. But fundamentally, Odin cannot repeat this mistake on map.
We'll have to see if this works out. It's worth noting, heading into Circuit Royale here, Ametori have never played this map this season. Odin have. Their only record was a 4-3 win against Noble Steed to win in a reverse sweep. It's also worth noting, in the history of these two teams, the team that has won the first map has also won the last map. Keep that in mind here as we load into the gates here. Ametori sticking with their bread and butter, minus a couple of changes. Frost on the Emre, Zimzif on the Ana, and Odin going for the Katshin Pharah Mauga comp yet again.
Yeah, it's really to be expected. Just the Pharah looking to be another thing that forces Ametori to look at them. Basically, I feel like this is almost like the hit scan gambit. It's the equivalent to a fork in chest. Frost can't look at laser and Sorry at the same time, which means one of them is going to get value.
Already a good kill here from the side of Ametori. They get rid of Sorry and continue this push forward. Anti-nade as well onto the Mauga, making it hard for Cam to stay alive here. And Ametori continue pushing past this first corner, just continually forcing Cam to back up. Only 40 health to the name of the Mauga on that fight. Matburger uses the kinetic grasp while Frost finds Nectar. Now it's only Crow on the cat who's going to be able to heal anybody, and the laser bastion is dead. There's not enough damage here for Odin to sustain through this pressure that Ametori are throwing right at them as they approach turn 6.
Stella Luna has been vital for Ametori this series. So many crucial final blows. Frost also basically having to play 1v2 against the DPS at times. So important for them. And Frost is going to have to lock in, but Zimzif chips in massively with the kill onto Sorry, and that's going to be huge as now Odin just going to have to protect their Bastion.
And they can't even do that because the Bastion's taking a nap in the middle of the sky. This ain't first class on Delta. You're not allowed to sleep on this flight. Odin now have to back up. Ametori will get the first point, and Zimzif, honestly, Chase, has been making a difference on this Ana. The anti-days, the sleeps, the picks have just been huge so far for Ametori.
It's important to know that the Kiri does have ways of mitigating all of the Ana cooldowns, but you can only do it once, which means if you stagger the cooldowns, one of them will connect, and that's
yeah. Double headshot slam with the charge. Cam just completely reversing the storyline here. He says, not on my watch. You ain't getting through turn 6 without at least one flat tire.
Oh, someone pull up the gif of the Venom dunking on the Spider-Man. Like, I feel just nuts on your face poster from Cam. That's the best way I can describe it. Monstrous slam. And Ametori, they have to walk up. And whilst this Sigma versus Mauda is very Sigma favored, I think the stomp is the all-important cooldown. If Cam can land it like that, there ain't too much to Sigma to do.
Here comes the override protocol from Frost. Getting the nano boost as well, trying to finish out the field, but that protocol is only going to be so good when there's no ground target until Sari goes in the wrong position, gets up getting killed out. Cam now lifted up by the Flux, going to be killed out here, but at the cost of Zimzip, so now you only have Ana or Kiri heals if you're the side of Ametori, but you don't care. You get rid of the Kiriko of Nectar, now all that's left is Crow and Glazer are going to be flying back into the hotel.
Yeah, I wonder if Odin, again, attempt to play a little bit too fast. The cage just doesn't find anyone. And it's perfect almost for the Odin create put that in a distraction for Frost to be able to commit the override protocol. Why? Because they have to fight inside the cage. It's literally how the Marvel ultimate works. So Ametori, I mean, great punish on Odin's overly aggressive play.
Now here comes the blade from Stellaluna after Laser's already removed. The catnap from Crow doesn't find anything, and Frost is just there to clean up the field. Cry will die to the hands of Noctara, so now there's no supports left. As actually Sari gets the deflect onto Zimzip, but the damage has already been there. Noctara trying to win it out in a 1v1, but you can only do so much when you don't have your Suzu on you. Ametori are still going to push this card forward. The Bastion of Laser is there in the front lines, but at some point they're going to have to back up.
Yeah, and I wonder if Odin are just buying time until Laser is able to get the Lindholm explosive perks. That is the ultimate power spike for Odin. I'm going to be very interested to see what happens if and when that is able to be online. I believe with about 2 minutes 30 left, the Bastion of Laser probably will be able to get to that major perk. They might not have it for long, which means Ametori have got a great window here to be able to continue to snowball their advantage. This blade from Sorry, I mean, it has to be massive anyway, but this is better.
It has to be the biggest decision maker. They do get the kill on the Frost. Catnap comes in as well onto Cry, forcing out that Kiriko. And Noctara finds 2 with the Kiriko to clean up the fight. A complete team wipe from Odin, the first one this map. And now Ametori, for the first time, are doing a complete reset.
So like in a couple of these maps, Noctara hasn't really been able to showcase one of their strengths on the Kiriko, which is their power hitting those left clicks, those kunais. Noct has got mechanics. And sometimes the kunai, you're just spamming it, right? But Noct is really able to lock in with those. But the Odin comp sometimes just requires so much care that he's been a bit relegated to healbot. He's been a little bit relegated, and it's not ideal.
Override protocol comes out from Frost. Cam, however, answers back with a kill, and Laser able to shoot Frost in the middle. Meanwhile, Stellaluna on the card trying to C9, doesn't get it done. Only 9.91 meters away from getting that cart in. But an early kill here from Matt Berger onto Laser could spell a good opening here for Ametori.
Oh, the fact that he's not in the fact that Stellaluna, she isn't in that fight. It's you give and you get. It's the Genji giveth, the Genji taketh. Would have loved having the Genji in that fight for the blade, for the deflect, etc. But if the C9 works, good lord, Odin are absolutely crushed under the weight.
Now the Torbjorn rockets coming out here from Laser on the Bastion. Stellaluna going to engage here with the Dragon Blade, looking for the kill onto their adversary. Laser's dead, but so is Zimzip. It's a trade here. Ametori now getting rid of both of the DPS here from Odin. Here comes the cage here from Cam, trapping Matt Berger inside, but Ametori go right inside of it, going right in for the cage, just throwing themselves into the fire, and are going to be able to come out with the win. No burns, no scars, nothing of the sort. The only thing they're getting out of it is a point after they deal with Sari.
Yeah, just the 2 meters and boom. So Odin still doing a good job stalling, and this final 2 minutes means that there absolutely is access. I don't know if OBS can hear me, but can we get a check on perks for Laser now? Because as I said, the Bastion, Cat Bastion is the main source. There we go, Lindholm explosives. Thank you so much, OBS. Shout out, love you guys. But it's big, it's important. I'm not sure how long they've had it because I've not quite been able to keep track of all the madness that's been going on. But the fact they've got it to this point...
Mid-fight, 2 fights ago. We'll see how it's going to work here. Lindholm explosives coming in. Frost getting so much of brunt force of that damage. And now Stellaluna going to be getting it instead. Laser finds that first pick. So Frost killed out in the aftermath as well. Laser shows they don't even need the bombs. They just are able to headshot Zimzip to death, and Sari cleans up the rest.
Yeah, you see how absolutely impressive that perk is with the cat fly, right? Like, it's a dive bomb. It's like Becca Farah. Farah Could never. Fariha in the bin. So bad she ran away and voice acted on instead, unfortunately. Completely irrelevant with that Lindholm explosive perk active. Now, 57. Catnap would potentially be on the cards here for Odin if they don't go for this first turn.
Yeah, but they lose two immediately. Sorry and Noctara dead. Now Matt Burgers are trying to fend off the might of Can here with that shield. Gonna be able to clean it up here as the cart starts moving yet again for Ametori. And they didn't have to use a single ultimate to get that done, Jace.
No, just like a rock and Cry, showcasing her flexibility. I think a lot of people are quite high on Cry anyway, as they should be, because she's terrific. But her flexibility has been like vital for Ametori in this series. Kiri playing the lead, playing
Did Catnap just cancel the flux? I believe so. Crow getting Matt Burger with the Catnap, canceling the flux from Matt Burger, and that was probably the biggest play here. The Catnap canceling it out. Crow answering back with a morale in the chat as well. Now Blade comes out from Sorry, trying to finish off the kill on the Frost. Gonna be able to do exactly that as Ametori need to try and touch the cart. Matt Burger's back. Here comes Stella Luna with the Blade, gets rid of Noctara. Now Stella Luna just trying to slice anything in sight. Crow dead. There comes the slice right on DPS. They get rid of Blade, and now getting rid of Sorry as well. Stella Luna just popping up in the kill feed. They have been an absolute force of nature ever since map number 3. And Ametori now looking in prime position to put this card all the way to the end of the map. No time left in the time bank, but that's all they needed to get overtime rounds.
Now, it is literally just fine, I'll do it myself from Stella Luna here. Comes in and just rattles off good map after clutch play after clutch play. And they've been all over the left side of the kill feed. And as much pressure as Frost is being given by the side of Laser and Sorry, and even Cam as well, they're all looking for that hit stand. It's meant that Luna has been slowly skulking in the shadows, looking for those key moments. Almost had the C9, didn't quite work. This time gets the Blade in overtime. And we just think, we looked at the HP bars of Laser and the HP bars of, I believe, Nectar. Just one more slash, and that's all that she needed. Because obviously the dash reset would have been available immediately after. And great work from the Genji and all of Ametori, to be fair. They're neutral, I think. I don't think their ultimates have been, I would say, the best. Like, we go for the nano override on the Emre ult, and it doesn't go until the Cat Bastion. It gets cancelled and it gets killed just by neutral. But Ametori in the neutral, they're finding Giga Rock value. They're finding a legal pick from the Genji. They're finding so many grenade kills from Frost. And now Cry is on another character. Yet again, even more flexibility. This is her 4th hero selected this series. And, you know, Notch has been on Kiri for basically all of it. Main support, flex support, might have to jumble it around because we've got Kiri and whatever else your other support can play. Matt Burger might be in the chat.
Now Odin back on what they were running there toward the later stages. Cat Bastion, Malga, Genji, Kiriko. How do they break through Ametori right now? Ametori doing a really good job. Well, you don't break through it by shooting the grenade into the structure right in front of you, Laser. That's not the most optimal strat. They're just waiting for the push in. Here comes the fly with the turret form right into the back. Laser trying to burn him out. But a beautiful accretion coming out there from Matt Burger to try and deny the kill onto Frost, I believe. But Odin still have all of his pressure being made up. They're very low health though on this Bastion. Matt Burger's going to finish them off. Selulu's going to sacrifice their life for it, but most of the damage has been done here for the side of Odin. They don't have their main damage dealer. All they have right now is Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if the trade work's actually out for Odin. They're going to have closer respawns, but Cam is going to get absolutely peppered on this angle. Frost is going to have to pull out the pistol just to retreat. Great season.
Very good usage of the perk. Cam trying to push forward and able to get anything. And Matt Burger's able to find Noctara. That's probably the big pick that's going to have to send Odin back to the retreat board. Until Cam just pushes right in. Goes in for the sort of pressure. Unable to get that kill, however. On to Cry. As it's just going to be the cleanup from Ametori. They aren't able to get... They are able to just fend off Odin. And now that's almost half of Odin's time bank gone.
Yeah, that's so tough. I actually really like the stomp there. Like, Cam is losing HP in that fight, and the stomp is really the only way it gets turned around. Kind of like when Reinhardt will just pin someone randomly on low HP, and it ends up working because the pin is obviously the one shot. Why did it one shot? Who knows? Fuck you, Blizzard. That's why. Laser giving up the Bastion, saying, hey, I'm not going to get to the major perk, so it's actually not going to be worth it. Could potentially pick it up for second point, however. Keep that idea in the back pocket. Well,
that's a caster curse I've ever seen. One just absolutely gets shut down by Matt Berger. Kitsune Rush comes out here from Zimzip as well. Ametori are just cleaning Odin. This is looking like a different team from what we saw from map number 2, Jace. Ametori are awake.
Yeah, and Ametori, they're comfortable. They're on a Sigma map. This is like the Sigma map, if there anything was, even when Sigma wasn't the best tank in the game, which I think he is. This is it. And just doing so well. Again, it's all starting, I think, with Matt Berger, their ability to hold space and deal constant damage to people behind the tank. Not really so much looking to pressure out that Mauga, the people behind in the support, keeping up the DPS, trying to find angles around. Gotta be a big cage from Cam.
Cage goes on to Matt Berger. Frost also uses the override protocol, but already so much damage being pumped in here from Odin. Able to get a lot with those 3 kills. Frost does get the kill onto Cam, and that was the only member left on this point. Not for long, though. Laser cleans them up. Laser's back in this game on the Cassidy, and Odin is going to make it well known. First point goes to Odin. After with only 50 seconds left on the clock, they'll go now to 3 minutes and 20.
Yeah, the time bank that you actually get for capping first is ridiculous. To be fair, this second point is like demonic, so Odin are going to have to really get on cart for this one. They can't waste any downtime, especially in the fights they win. Sky Noon almost available. I think Cam's trying to buy as many cooldowns out from his team as he can.
Forced out Rock, I believe. Forced out Deflect as well. But at the end of the day, Stella Luna says we don't care about your cooldowns. We're just going to come in and dash everybody. Sorry does get the trade onto Zimzip, so there is an opportunity here for Odin to engage, but they have to do it quick here, Jace. Yes.
2 minutes 14 times, so they've got plenty of time to do it. However, Sky Noon now is basically their win condition. I'm electing to go under. They're not going to be on cart for now, but a lot of Ametori.
Oh, Laser! You don't even need to be on the card with Laser with the Sky Noon fight story. Cry, Stella Luna, and Frost all in the grave.
Curry way downtown. Fun. That's exactly what you wanted to Odin. Perfect, right? They are looking at Cam, the walk up, and I didn't even notice that flank. And if I didn't notice it, Ametori definitely didn't. Of course, Deadeye built it so much quicker than it used to. Perfect. It's just one ult, and it's a giga value.
That from Crow does force the Sigma all the way in the back. Luna's Blade almost dead, able to stay alive. Frost able to find 2 as well. Matt Berger's Flux finds Cam as well. The cleanup is there from Ametori. The catnap just does nothing. And Ametori clean it up here. Now 1 minute 40 seconds here for the side of Odin. Do we see any swaps coming out here? Looks like no. Crow's sticking with this cat.
I think Circuit is so rough that even if Ametori end up dropping this fight, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world for Odin. Just because, well, you're not going to have that much time for third, and it takes so long by itself to push anyway, even if you have one person on car. I think it takes about 50 seconds to push from second point all the way to third cap anyway. So that's not even including any fights or any time stalling the payload. But now we get into the final minutes. It's going to be penultimate fights. Frost Soul goes early, but it whiffs. Still a neutral going on. Nectar, the Kiri Rush, is in the hands of the Flexible. It's Florida's finest. Can they come up with the full flush to send Ametori back to start?
Continuing rushing from both sides. Blade comes out from Sorry. They get the accretion immediately here by Matt Berger as they're able to separate them from the rest of their team. Beautiful backup here from Ametori. Now that's 2 ultimates out the window here. Odin having to back up. Cam going over the back line. Stella Luna's there just trying to find anything, but isn't able to get any kills. Now, under 60 seconds left in the time bank. Odin have completely reset. Ametori also reset. Here comes Cam with the push. Close to that cage fight, but has to stay alive, and they don't even do that. Frost finds the kill right onto them, and now Laser's out of the fight as well. This beam coming out from Cry does exactly what Ametori need, and now it's just Sorry on the point. They're getting staggered out here. Zimzip is dead. Sorry just trying to stall it out, save alive as much as possible, but it's gonna get killed here by Matt Berger, but only 15 seconds left.
Yeah, I think Crow needs to somehow, like, maybe potentially airlift Cam and then go for the Sky Noon as well, but this time they should expect it, and it's not quite the best angle that they can go from. They're not going to have time. 3 seconds left. The High Noon might just even buy time. It might just clear out space. Zim should just TP away.
They're gonna force out that Kiri TP. Now they have the cage whenever Ametori decide to re-engage. Here comes the catnap as well. Matt Burger's caught by it as they're inside of the cage, now pulled outside of the cage to nowhere with the rest of their team. Cam goes in, goes right for Cry, hits them with that Russian, is able to burn them down as the fight comes in here for Odin. They take this point in their own. 1 minute, 20 seconds on the clock. Odin now have a chance to bring us to overtime rounds.
Yeah, I think Ametori excellently play against the high noon. They all go back around the corner. Unfortunately, Odin's payload progression is just too much for them. Cam's playing another character now. We're going to the Winston, keeping on the cat. So gonna give up that match, saying, hey, this Genji, this Emre, just doing a bit too much. It's like they found Cam on the off angle though. Important to remember that Cam's gonna get his
on the rotation.
Yeah.
Gonna go in the rotation. Cam's gonna try to force out anything here. Here comes the flush from Matt Burger. It does land on the Kiriko Nectar. The worst possible pick here for Odin. Now they're down their main support. Laser's dead as well. Cam's just retreating to the safety of their team. Well, the team is not even there. They have to retreat to the safety of their spawn at this point. And the rest of the team of Ametori are just cleaning them all up.
Yeah, and it's gonna help, I think, the Genji from Odin. Because Sorry, I think had a really rough series, particularly in the back. Last 3 maps, Stella Luna just been able to be so much more aggressive and being really able to capitalize on opportunities. Frost with 20 seconds left, just looking for the kill on
Cam got hit by the accretion before they're able to jump out. One else in the name, they're dead. Stella Luna. Odin now have no tank here. 10 seconds left. Someone has to touch that card or else it's game over for Odin. They're down to the lower bracket. Ametori have the chance to pull the biggest upset, ruin this undefeated streak here for the side of Odin. And Stella Luna finds 2. A perfect Dragon Blade to eliminate Sorry and Crow. However, Laser back. Deadeye comes out, able to get rid of Stella Luna. Nectar is dead. Zip gone. Matt Burger gets rid of Laser, and now it's only Cam on the card. It's a tank versus a tank, and Ametori are running back as fast as they can. Cam needs to try and build up his primal raid, but they're only 68% to it. The rest of Odin trying to run back to save their monkey. Crow comes in. They get rid of Frost. Cam's out of the picture, but the rest of Odin are running back as now Crow's trying to stall it out, but there's nobody left. It's just Sorry and Nectar, but they're both in the small room, which is exactly what Ametori wants. The reverse sweep from Ametori secure their spot in the upper finals, and Odin, for the first time since the kickoff tournament, have lost and are going down to the lower bracket.
And the Odin run, it always happens. There's always a team that performs well in the regular season, and in the playoffs, they just can't quite convert it. And Ametori, I think you just have to give all credit to them because some of their neutral fights, it's... Again, you can't quite criticize, I think, Odin too much. Just some of the kills they were able to find in the neutral. Just the last 3 maps, Ametori's overall neutral fights, just so much better. And ultimately, well, ironically, in fights, well, without your Q buttons, it matters over the distance of a long map. You've got more non-ultimate fights than ultimate fights, and that's just the nature of the beast. Odin take their first loss, and now they're going to have to go through the slog of the lower bracket. Probably still one of the favorites to come out of it. But Ametori, like what? Pretty much this secures them top 4 at least. 3 maps in a row against the map picks of Odin. I still think Circle Royale was the bad choice. Suravasa was not. Runa Sarpi was not. They go against a map pick. They've never won on Suravasa. Then they get a little bit of a gift map with the Sigma. And I think it's just Conjay, and it's low-key just Conjay player of the series while we riot. Everyone on Ametori, I think, was terrific. But my God, what a reverse sweep from Ametori.
Yeah, a beautiful reverse sweep coming out from Ametori. Again, I mentioned at the start of this, the start of that final map, the team that won the first map in the series for these past 2 times that these 2 teams have played, won the series at the end of the day. And that was not the case here. Ametori able to defy everything coming into this. Again, undefeated on Lijiang, lose that. Winless on Suravasa, win that. Reverse sweep the top team they did that as well. Ametori played this perfectly. And now, as a result, they are in the upper finals. You mentioned it, Jace. Yeah. They secure a spot in 3rd place in 4th place.
It's an absolute monstrous uppercut from Ametori because as they are on the up, I think everyone on Ametori was able to punch up today. Really overperformed and outdid themselves. Terrific performance from Ametori. Not much more, I think you can say, regarding them. They were excellent today. And that is the nature of playoffs. That is the nature of Overwatch. It's not won on paper, it's won on the fine margins. And Ametori played terrific, steady Overwatch, basically all series. Their bans were good. Their map picks when they got them were good. A lot of their neutral play was good. Their control of pacing was excellent. As I said, I mentioned it in map 1. I think Ametori's control of the disengage. I talk about ebb and flow. Their ebb, I think, was excellent today, maybe even better than their flow, and they were good at going aggressive too. And it's an uppercut because they punch up and Odin get knocked down. They're going to be playing the winner of Black Crown versus Snowdrop. And coming into this season, Black Crown, Snowdrop, and Odin, some of our best teams touted. And 2 of them are going to be going home by the time we get to the lower semi-finals. But Balzi, let's get a bracket preview and let's get out of here because it's almost 3 a.m. Oh, we've got MVP to do as well.
Yeah, we also have the MVP here because we have an MVP decided for this match, and we've talked about him all day. It's Bakanje, Matt Berger on that tank, just absolutely lit up on those final 3 maps, consistently finding value with the Sigma here, Jace. Had some rough fluxes, but other than those,
it doesn't matter when you're hitting a demonic amount of rocks, and every map that he did well in, like results for map 5, Matt Berger, 46 and 7, 20k damage. This time backed up the rest of his team within the same damage ranges and brackets. Frost actually went 45 and 10 with 23k damage. So it was a bit more of an even effort compared to just the Matt Berger and Frost 2-man game. But man, I almost wanted to give that to Stella Luna actually, just because she completely changed the whole series when she came in. I think there was a huge flex DPS gap there, I'm going to be brutally honest. And I hate to say that because that almost feels a little bit too harsh on Sorry. Because Sorry in the first three maps, good. But just so brutal the last 2 maps, just completely gapped, I think, by Stella Luna on those last 2 maps. I think anyone that watched that series can say that with the most abject sincerity. But congratulations to Matt Berger. I think just Sigma, it's really powerful. As I said, you were going up against like the best Orisa to ever do it and managed to get him off his signature hero, I would say, and forced him into Malga. And just too good on the Sigma today was Konjay. Let's go have a look at our schedule, Balzi.
Yep, as we mentioned, of course, we still have other matches today. Of course, that match just happened, but now Mango Nectar, Slime City Monarchs. It's time for the B League here on the main stream. We'll see which of those teams is also going to advance to the winners finals, albeit in the B League here very shortly. That is going to do it for me and Jace here on the main stream here, but do not worry, we still have an amazing next talent of casters here to guide you through the B League, so don't go anywhere. More BPL Season 8 playoff coverage returns right after this quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Hello. My name is Biscuit. I am back. It seems like it's been forever since I've been here. And to my side over there is Soav. How do I say your name actually?
You got that was good. No, you nailed it. You got it in one, Biscuit. Don't worry.
Well, thank you, Soav. Today we're back in BPL season 8. We have to go a little bit fast, since we have a couple of our players quite ready. But we have Mango Nectar versus Slime City Monarchs. So very exciting matchup. Again, we don't have a lot of time to yap, but here is a look at our bracket. And so we're in upper semifinals. A lot of things are at stake here.
Yeah, I mean, both teams coming out, never had to play in. Both of them looking for that spot into the upper finals, that winners finals, before moving on to grands. And as far as I have seen, at least kind of glancing through this, both of these teams have put on very strong showings. Mango Nectar being in theory, kind of, maybe the better of the two, coming in, having the play-in segment. So I do, it's interesting. On paper, I would give it to Mango Nectar, but it does look like these teams are going to be pretty even.
Yeah, no, I would agree, right? And especially considering that both of them kind of have the same level of matchup going into upper round 1 and then upper semifinals. Of course, you didn't have to play in, just like you were mentioning. So we're dealing with some very interesting rosters, just that we can see here. We have Fish on tank, which I recognize for having played in a lot of these community leagues. Yeah. Current Master, Sandy and Corey particularly stand out to me. Strudel as well. I'm not familiar with Big Brain Sandy or Blinded, but I will be surprised, that is for sure. Looking at the other roster though, Slime City Monarchs, they will not be left behind.
No, there's still plenty there. Plenty of even faces I recognize. I'm going to be highly critical of Luau and Bandit on the DPS, as I know both of them a little bit. Froggy to round out that line, and Dawes as the solo tank to kind of bring it in, favoring the diva. I think is going to be very interesting. I always love seeing how the flex support tanks are. So like the off tanks kind of tend to lean into those a little bit more to their advantage. So again, I have some players I'm going to watch here from these Monarchs, and I'm very excited to see how they bring it into play for this.
True, and I'm also very critical of Baka, a very close friend.
Yeah, I was going to say Baka too.
Very familiar with the guy. I'm excited to see what they're bringing to the table. Again, reminding all of you that we're in upper finals. So should the team lose, they're not completely eliminated. Reminder, it's going to be first to 3. So as you can see right here in our map pool, we're going to go into Control, Hybrid Push, Flashpoint, and Escort as our selected modes. Completely different from last time, in which during pools or play or whatever you want to call it, like regular season, the maps were pre-selected. Now teams are actually like drafting, right? They're actually choosing which maps they want to go into, which adds like an extra layer of depth, right? In which you're kind of making sure that you're like, there's always a map that you can play to your advantages, right? If you're not a super good dive team, then we're maybe avoiding Busan and some other maps, right? But it looks like Lijiang Tower is going to be the pick here from Mango Nectar, and they're up to 1. Not like they've played infinite games on this map, but still a decent lead.
I was gonna say, Biscuit, it doesn't matter what kind of setup you really put in for this. They can draft, they can choose, they can be told what to play. If players are given a choice, it will always revert Lijiang. 4-1 for the side of our Slime Legion versus a 4-1. Like, this is just based on the stats of the map. Though it is good, like when you look at the overall of control, not just necessarily Lijiang Tower. The thing is, to me, like everybody plays Lijiang Tower. I don't know that it gives you a distinct advantage, but what will give you a distinct advantage is the bans. Mango Nectar is going to go ahead and take out a support, and Slime City will take out the Cass. So, I mean, with Mizuki out and Cass out, it does really limit your close range brawls, which is very interesting for Lijiang, because you have at least one map where that's very, very strong, and we may never even see it given 2 out of the 3 nature of control. So bans kind of, I think, showing us we're going to play a little more dive or a little more poke.
Yeah, and especially I like the Mizuki ban, right? Going into control, a super strong character that we've been seeing him everywhere. And with D.Va being so dominant, right now being able to block the chains is a super important thing going into the matchup. Thus, they were highlighting D.Va as their favorite character, so I'm expecting to see her in one of these maps. The Kree ban, well, I don't mind it at all. I think it's more like a very general ban, more like we're still not completely sure what they're gonna play. We're not completely sure what might be like a guaranteed pick going into these maps. That's just strong, right? Making sure that the flashbang is not a factor for your flex DPS who might suffer from having their movement kind of cut off like that. Lijiang Tower will be your first map. Then we'll have Hybrid and Push guaranteed with Flashpoint and Escort as kind of our tiebreakers. And going in, big reminder, for a regular season we had first to 2, so going into first to 3, games are not only longer, but they get harder, right? You start adapting to what your opponent is doing. You start slowly thinking more about like, hey, in the future our bans are really heavy, right? Because those characters will be allowed way later. Shout out to observers, shout out to production, thank you all for making this happen. And 15 seconds until the map starts. So but you can't ever trust what they lock in during these couple of seconds, but it seems like the comps are very well set now.
But I do think that when you look at this, you look at the lineups, this is going to be close. I do want to shout this out because Slime City Monarchs also banned it on that Sojourn. Having played against them is actually just insane. So I do actually have some high expectations for this Slime City Monarchs team if Bandit is kind of getting the angles and Dawes allows that to open up.
Yeah, going into White Room immediately for the side of Mango Nectar, trying to secure a couple of these off angles. Froggy trying to look for something here, but nothing can happen just yet, right? Just a little bit of poke. Bandit getting dangerously low. A couple of shots not going their way. Blinded though extremely, getting ran over by Dawes, but Dateable is the first one to go down. It seems like Mango Nectar is just up 2 players. Down your support, down your tank. There's no way for Slime City Monarchs to come back, and the point belongs to Mango Nectar.
Bandit did get that wide angle, but didn't quite really have the space to kind of capitalize on it. And when the Slime City Monarchs were playing a little bit spread too thin, Mango Nectar capitalized on it, still in the neutral though. It's going to again come down to the positioning. So with Mango Nectar taking the forward position, if they play it right and don't get caught out by a Maywall, they should be able to kind of hold and drain the resources out.
Yeah, I do think that you kind of have to play for a couple of these long fights, as you were mentioning. Fish getting a little bit of damage into Dawes, and Dawes, even though you have the block, even though you have your supports, they're all walled off by this Maze. Strudel with a beautiful pick that denies almost any sort of support towards Dawes. A little bit of a teabag from Fish coming in. I don't think it was towards Slime City Monarchs. While they may have lost a couple of these fights, they're looking better ult-wise, and so the Blizzard might be a big issue though.
I mean, the Blizzard is kind of the win condition here, right? Pair that in, you shouldn't need to throw in the Kitsune Rush to it, but there's no answer for this Blizzard. As long as it catches anybody, Mango Nectar should be able to capitalize on it. Already pulling out a lot of those resources out of Slime City Monarchs, have to wait for the Lucio speed now before they want to go forward, and they're already taking damage.
Yeah, Dawes posturing towards just being very aggressive. Look at that immediately. The Kitsune Rush coming on, a headshot coming in towards Strudel. They don't even get to cast the Blizzard, but Blinded and Big Brain do not even care that Strudel is down, right? 2 people down, 3 people down. First time Slime City Monarchs, and the worst thing is that you use Ramatra ult. Good C9, but you're down a lot if you're Slime City Monarchs. In a fight you lost.
2v1, the Tracer does have recall, but you're basically just playing for whatever percentage you can get here. I mean, that makes sense. Now we're going to the Orisa. I buy that, but you gave up a very strong ult in that Annihilation to basically nothing. You traded it to Kitsune, and Mango Nectar just has big ults coming in. They have Annihilation. They'll have this Blizzard, and there's still nothing to stop it. I'm concerned here.
I'm concerned as well for this beat. Look at this move. Is it coming? No. 2 people off the map. There goes Bandit. I don't think that Saga is going to fall, but I don't think the Dateable is going to fall, but look at that. The beat immediately coming out. 2 people down already for the side of Slime City Monarchs. The Blizzard finding such value during this fight. And the Annihilation is just there to clean up the fight. We do not need anything else here at Mango Nectar. 12% to the name of Slime City Monarchs. What's up? I'm sad to say, it kind of seemed like they didn't even get to play the game.
Yeah, it got a little bit snowballed out of control for Slime City Monarchs. Mango Nectar kind of won that initial fight, took the space, drained them out a second fight. And by that point, the snowball of the ult economy really just took over. The macro of the game kind of decided a lot of it. I mean, that is probably the worst case scenario for a team like Slime City Monarchs, who I can tell really want to play into the range and the distance. Whereas like Mango Nectar, you showed the May, you showed Sojourn to play into that. Like that is a team that wants to brawl much closer versus playing with, playing without that kind of May, a little bit closer support for your Ramatra. Now though, in the wide open skies here, I don't think we'll see a change out of Mango Nectar, but I do think Bandit over to the Freya is a little bit more interesting of a pick. You have a little more freedom to kind of poke these off angles. She's basically a backline tracer at this point, so you can kind of poke a little bit more with a little less fearlessness, and those shots just do so much more damage to the buff.
Absolutely, right? Fish is gonna feel a lot of pressure coming in from these bolts. Headshots from Freya will always hurt you. And you have the longer range, especially look at that blind there as well. Going over to the Freya, it seems like both teams really value the kind of pressure that this puts onto your tank. Although it seems like Mango Nectar is not quite interested in moving on to point. Kind of hard to cross, especially when Bandit is just staring you down and Saga pays the price. You cannot cross while Bandit is looking down the line. Fish, though, finding a really good trade back. Look at that. Without your Kiriko, can you even really survive the sustain fight? DOS looking for a little bit of a result here. 2 people down for the side of Mango Nectar. And all I gotta say, this point is all Bandit. 3 people down, 4 people now. And just you were talking, right? The Freya, beautiful pick.
Yeah. I mean, Bandit, like just from having, like I said, from having seen them play, having watched them in the last year or so, Bandit, when Bandit gets hot, she gets really hot. They just go off. Like, they are in control. They already built a bolus. There's nothing really in the way. Froggy now over to the Tracer again. To try to control some of these off angles as they approach from the White Room is a great position. It just, again, is going to kind of depend on, does this Freya get the angles to do any damage? And do they get contested? They're already on the counter spawn. That's insanely flank.
Yeah, Bandit looking for a little bit of a flank here. The bola is going to dictate a lot of this fight, though. With this hold, can you find something immediately? 2 bolas coming out and no results. Bandit doesn't quite find anything, but Fish is still cut off from the rest of the team. The wall is good to try and keep Dog isolated, but it doesn't matter. Blinded is going to go down. Mango Nectar just losing this fight from the pressure that bola provides. Strudel looking for a little bit of damage onto Dog, but it's not going to be able to find anything. The Kitsune coming up from Mango Nectar, trying to even the fight, but it doesn't matter. Double annihilation. Who's going to come out on top? This Sticky Bomb is gonna be good. Manages to find his target, and Mango Nectar down after spending 3 old sub. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, that was a big investment, Biscuit. That was, you know, I was kind of on board when we threw in Kitsune Rush, Fish smashed the Annihilation, and I was like, that's a really big investment that we have to win. So they didn't. Now we're behind, so it's going to be this Kitsune versus the Blizzard here. So it's going to kind of depend to see how, if this Blizzard might get used defensively even to shut down the Kitsune. I think that's the right play for Strudel if they want to try to keep this in their favor.
And you're already down your Kitsune. Look at that immediately. They know what they want, right? They want DOS to die, and that is what's going to happen. The beat comes out, but so late from Data Ball. It's almost like you got no value from it. The rest of the team gets hit, but losing your tank first is a recipe for disaster. The Bola comes out, doesn't find anything, no Ice Cube, keeping them safe. Bandit does not get the pick, gets a couple of resources out, but Mango Nectar is going to win. And so, all I can say is that the beat is so late on that fight.
Yeah, you were already down 1 by the time that beat came out, and I'm not sure you really needed to commit that into what is arguably a losing fight. Like, you were at 99. It feels like you could have saved that for the retake match sagas and then just been in an okay position. Instead, now you have to take a very dry fight. Maybe if you're lucky, get the sound barrier out of Saga to give yourself an advantage going in. But the good thing for the Slime City Monarchs is they have time with all of this.
Oh my god, the boom coming in. That's going to be on the Kiriko, so the TP is going to keep them safe. Saga, a little bit too in it, in my opinion, the beat. They might need to invest it. No, Froggy manages to find Saga, but the beat is still on the table for the side of Mango Nectar, and you need to get that out. Does Zeta will go down? Yes! Blinded, just putting so much pressure onto the backline from Slime City Monarchs. Dallas goes down. I think Silty deciding to jump off, knowing that this is going to be a losing fight. And again, their name of the game is the beat, and beat is still on the table for Mango Nectar. So disappointed from Saga.
Yeah, I mean, you that was the right call. You know, you have time. You know, if you're tracking well, there's no ults coming online. Maybe, you know, there's a pulse bomb, maybe there's a bola, but you're not really concerned about that. You're saving this for Annihilation, which is coming up, so expect it to see in this fight. Blinded has to hit something with his pulse bomb, or Froggy needs to come out on top. The tracers matter here.
Oh yeah, no, the tracers absolutely matter. Blinded looking for a beautiful... Just what a shot! Dog manages to get Strudel out of the fight. No more wall to try and isolate them, and this fight is just all Bandit. If you're Slime City Monarchs, you have to... Can we give Bandit a pay raise? Please, they just saved that fight like you have no idea.
Genuinely did. Still, the stragglers in, but Dawes is there for the cleanup. But like, man, yeah, that's the definitive. This Blizzard probably will not find the value. I think we're just kind of here for garbage time. Yeah, that'll be a touch. Yeah, that Ajax is so crucial, and that is a punctuation mark of a pulse bomb right there. Bandit really clutched up. I was looking for them to come alive to kind of swing this back, and they did just that for the Slime City Monarch. Huge ups to them for it.
Absolutely, and the whole thing we were talking about during that map, right, is the beat. The beat matters so much because like Data Ball burning it in such a bad fight, it should have a bad fight, right? Means that you basically are down a fight permanently because Beat is almost always going to win it, unless there's like some really big exception, like 5-man Diva Bomb, but that's not gonna happen. And then Bandit just locks in and manages to get the C9. Absolutely heartbreaking for Mango Nectar, but a huge momentum swing for Slime City Monarchs.
I don't know that it really would have gotten a ton of value aside from allowing Saga to win the 1v1, but it was still very, very crucial of a decision as we move into sub-map 3. No real changes coming in on either side, but Fish gets banded out of the way, and that means this is probably a free win for Mango Nectar. As long as you play inside these sightlines, Slime City Monarchs, they don't have a lot of damage. They're kind of really dependent on the DPS to poke something down and capitalize. So this first round should just be opening. They should sit comfortably here.
Yeah, you're not wrong. A lot of this composition is Bandit landing a couple of bolts and then going in with Froggy, going in with DOS to try and finish them off. Look at this Froggy going another death from Bandit. It hurts you so much, right? Just like we were talking about. You get the C9 and the monkey paws that you cannot do anything on map 3. The shield is gonna be keeping this Lucio safe. Later Bull gets out, but Slime City Monarchs choosing to swap over to the Soj.
You know what? That's fine. Bandit can hit those shots. You're a little less spammy in regards to versus the Freya, but you are still fine. Bandit still hits. I was gonna say Bandit still hits heads, but so does Blinded. So make that 2. Good for that. And I mean, this fight's over. This fight's over, Biscuit. We're done here.
Wow, we didn't even get to like talk about this stuff, right? Immediately.
There's nothing to say. Blinded. This is the Blinded show right now. Blinded said, "Bandit, I see you. I'm going to show you how it's done," and just did that.
True. No, they swapped over to the Soj. You know, they weren't able to quite match them on Freya, but you cannot match Blinded and Soj apparently, and so many ults up and coming for the side of Mango Nectar. It seems like you really need to win a dry fight if you want to even get a foot inside this point. Dataable dropping extremely low. They might need to try and stabilize before they can do anything. The wall's gonna keep them off. There's nothing to really break it with. Fish taking a little bit of damage. The point being taken by Froggy kind of forces Mango Nectar to split off and look at various angles. The Annihilation is ready. Do we invest it into the Kitsune Rush? I think the answer has to be yes, right? Yes, the Annihilation comes out. Double Annihilation from both teams. Big Brain is down. No more sustain for the side of Fish. This hurts you a lot if you're Mango Nectar. So many ults for the side of Mango Nectar. They really want to win this fight. And 80% on ticking, so they can still come back. It's such a commit though. 5 ultimates in a fight.
Yeah, dare you say a bit of an overinvestment. We committed all 5. Probably didn't need them. Maybe assuming that was going to be enough to win the fight, maybe hold it out. Froggy has this pulse bomb and Databull coming into Sound Barrier. Bandit has Shatsa has Overdrive clock up. Like Databull is kind of the linchpin here. It's gonna have to give the Tracer body to make this work. But Databull has to get the Sound Barrier. Nope, no touch.
Wait, no.
Never mind.
What is my Tracer?
No, Tracer lost. Tracer lost the duel, man. It's over.
What?
Tracer lost. Tracer couldn't. Mission fail.
Wow, I could have sworn that Froggy was already on coast. Making it right?
Yeah.
Like so.
No,
they lost to Lucia. Like, is that it?
Yeah, wow. We lost the duel, my friend. We lost the duel, and that is sometimes just how it goes. You know, that's Overwatch, baby. Sometimes you think your Tracer's got the touch, and sometimes you're just gonna get outdueled by the Lucio. It's just the way it is.
Wow, that's tragic. I mean, like, okay, they were very much down going into that point, but being down 5 ults is so big, right? Like that's like your one that's like the one scenario where I think like, oh, maybe you have to way back into the game. They have no more ults, and maybe you can make it so you don't use them or use one a fight, you know what I mean? But then no touch. Such an anticlimactic end to a very exciting game, I will say.
This is going to be a good one. I think this is going to go. I don't know if it'll match the map 5 banger we just came from, but I do think that if we're going to see explosive 5 ult committed fights followed up by very good defense, decent defensive kind of play, I'm going to be very interested to see how the rest of this plays out. That said, we got a new pick coming in from Mango Nectar, who, again, you know, both teams in the upper bracket, both looking to keep themselves alive. They will pick from a hybrid, and, you know, just from what we've seen, I don't know if there's any particular, you know, from what we saw, I can't say like, oh, we want to play a dive map, we want to do an XYZ. We didn't really see a lot, so I think we're going to have to see. But I see King's Row is in the pool, so everything else is irrelevant, so I think I know where we're just going to end up, but that's just my guess.
Yeah, I think we're just putting the brawl in the bag, and hopefully deciding to put on a good show. Oh, no. Money.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. I'm no longer in NA.
I will
in Korea.
I am suddenly interested in this hybrid map exceedingly. Okay.
Wow. I mean, yeah, just like you were saying, from that map, I don't get the vibes of anything. Right? It's kind of like they're not really like super brawly, just running in and. Wow, I mean, interesting that they go into Numbani. I think this is more like just testing if enemy team really can play the dive.
Yeah, I agree. This feels like Mango really is saying, all right, we can't win the brawl, we can't win the pokey brawl. Let's see how you handle dive. And I do think that this also feels like maybe there's someone coming off the bench that is going to get in the map rotation that maybe this is better for. We did see Tracer and Freya from the side of Slime, but which generally plays well with the Winston. So I think I need to see some more proof before I'm super sold on this. But this makes sense for Slime City Monarchs to go this way. They showed us the more easy to swap into dive comp, so I kind of buy it.
Yeah, and I like the Numbani pick. I think it's pretty interesting. Going into Vans as well. I don't know if we can spoil it just yet, but Van is locked in for Slime City Monarchs. It's gonna be Soch, which absolutely agree. Right, we were talking about it. Blinded looking really good on the Soch, right? And especially, yes, I think Soch, of course, probably one of the best picks in these brawly maps, but that does not mean that she's bad at all in Numbani. The Zarya ban, I'm very interested in, considering this is a very traditional like Winston Diva Hazard map. I don't think it's a bad ban, but it's a little bit weird, no? Like actually.
It's definitely a little odd. I think Zarya gets more value in the later portions of the map, you know, Streets phase and B, and kind of at the end where there's not really as much high ground to control. You know, do I think this is kind of a response to maybe losing the tank fight? I don't know. I feel like that maybe it's just like well, what are we like? We're not really afraid of anything. What just don't we want to see come out? And the Zarya is like fine for that. I don't hate it, but I'm not feeling particularly strong about it here, Biscuit.
Yeah, and just like you were saying, going into second and third, she's not the worst pick in the world. Super pickable, and still she's very annoying, especially when you're pairing her with like a Genji, right? Being able to just kind of fly in, dash in, get your value with your blade, and then immediately pop a bubble. So not the worst thing ever, but again, going into Numbani, a big change of pace coming from what we saw in Lijiang, where it's a lot of brawl, grounded action, kind of all moving in slowly, poking. It's more like explosive, right? Bursts of action, kind of like immediately jumping 1, 2, 3, someone is gonna die. And a big test coming in from Slime City Monarchs after losing in the brawl, testing if Mango Nectar can play the dive. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Like I said, I do think this favors them when you look at what they showed us. We did see Bandit over on the Freya getting a lot more value there. We saw the Tracer come out. We saw the Lucio, along with it. So I think the pieces, I think, make sense. And like I said, if there's maybe the swap into a Diva, I buy it a lot more. I do think that this is pretty much more of a calculated pick. 9 times out of 10 teams just would say, let's just go King's Row. We've scrimmed this a million times. We're confident. This feels very calculated. You don't just pick Numbani. So I think Slime City Monarchs are onto something that they've been, they're looking, going, all right, we definitely have the pieces for this. Let's make this work.
Yeah, hopefully they can make it work. Slime City Monarchs, not like on tournament life. Again, should they lose, there is a lower bracket, but that's a lot more games coming your way, and you're 1 away from losing. So very important that they keep themselves in the bracket here, and that they give us a little bit of a fight. Baker's going to be coming in for Datable, who we saw during last app. Sandy coming in for Saga, and Kern coming in for Strudel, who, just like you were saying, right? A lot of these subs just seem to be like players who are very... you have very clear, like, oh, this is the guy that we play on DPS for dive, and this is the guy that we play for brawl, right? So it seems like Mango Nectar is ready when it comes to roster, but that is just on paper. The game is played on the map, and hopefully we can see them perform in the map.
Yeah, I'm like, even looking a little bit deeper at these tells me we're taking out our Lucio player, our Mei player is going out, so we're expecting not to brawl. Makes sense. But bringing in Sandy, I think, is going to be interesting. What are you bringing in? Are you bringing in like a Brig? Are you bringing in, a Cat player? Are you bringing in something else? I'd be very interested. They're bringing in a Mizuki, and I don't hate that paired into the Sigma. Maybe I'm a little less hot on the Sigma versus Diva. You give up verticality if you're Mango Nectar for maybe just a little bit more stability and a little bit of safety. But I do think Slime City Monarchs, this is kind of what I expected out of them, actually. even if Baka were to give up the Lucio and go to something, you know, like maybe a little different, I wouldn't even be mad. But Baka was playing well on Lucio. I don't see anything wrong with this. I think the question is, how long is it going to take for Mango Nectar to poke something out of the way when this is a very mobile team? Slime City Monarchs are not going to be easily picked away at or taken care of. It's a very self-sufficient team. So this may take a little bit longer to poke than I think they're realizing.
Yeah, just like you were mentioning, right? A lot of this kind of is like an untouchables comp, right?
Yeah,
you're not putting your hands on top of Kiri. You're not putting your hands on top of Lucio on top of anyone. Maybe Bandit and DOS can get hit by the chain, but look at this very interesting angle that they're going for. Immediately taking stairs. Slime City Monarchs a little bit unaware, if I should say so. Fish already taking that high ground. Look, they don't even need the boosters to try and contest DOS up here, who's already dropping extremely low, and they just get DMAC'd instantly. Wow. Okay. I mean, I think that should have worked. I really think that should have worked, but
no, it shouldn't have. But remember how you were saying everybody is very difficult to you know, kind of like get onto? It's very easy to get on everybody when everybody's playing separate and you have 2 or 3 on each other, and most Slime City Monarch have kind of used their movement abilities to get away from the early engage. I mean, Diva was playing halfway up the stairs, Bandit was playing on the front. A little bit of a misuse of the micro is kind of what I've argued, but Mango Nectar, I mean, that's a great pick too onto the Winston. Very great punish. They'll get some free push here, and this is just best case scenario for Mango Nectar. Honestly, this is, you know, exactly what you want considering what you're up against.
Yeah, and if I have to be honest, I'm kind of still in shock that Fish really just walked in. They just kind of walked into point and took the stairs, and everyone died. DOS died again during second point. 5 minutes and taking Bandit immediately going down. Beautiful shots from Karen Master, and so I mean, it feels so disorganized for Mango Nectar. I can't even say like what's happening. They're just kind of like slowly bleeding out. DOS look already split from the rest of the team, and you're probably gonna get caught off here. You have to jump, but you don't have bubble to keep yourself safe. It's just wow, very disorganized.
It feels like the dive is any sort of pressures coming in late. Now that they're reset, they should be back to full. They just, again, need to find a target to get onto, and this kind of dive takes coordination. It's hard to do, but you can do it.
Yeah, going into point though, 3 meters and ticking. Is everyone contest? It's gonna be DOS, who's now finally full HP. The Kitsune comes out, finally a first fight for Sana Sunlit and Slime City Monarchs. Baka finds Current Master. No more of that long range pressure that was making DOS die so quickly. And look at that beautiful bubble. It's gonna keep them safe from the bubble. The Kitsune, sorry, the Sanctuary and Kitsune coming out from Mango Nectar is almost gonna give them the point. Silsey gonna be the last touch, but I was gonna say it's an overcommit, but they managed to win the fight after what I thought it was gonna be a sure win for Slime City Monarchs.
I mean, yeah, maybe you could argue as an overcommit, but I don't think so. Sanctuary's like kind of earns back quick. Kitsune was your biggest ult, but with Karen Master coming into overdrive vertical, like, I think they're fine. You just need to get Bach out of the picture. Bandit over to the Cassidy and Dawes over to the Reinhardt deciding we're going to try to win the tank battle. I actually like this way, but you need to back it up really, really quickly. So as long as you can hold this corner, this is a traditional place to hold. Like, you can just kind of hold here for eternity, which is good because you have about 5 minutes to burn if you're the Monarch.
Yeah, 5 minutes to try and do a lot of different things to your Mango Nectar. Just like you were saying, right? The override is going to be the most important ult going into this fight, other than Baka with the beat. Look at that. Yeah, immediately coming out. There's no way you can chew to this much HP, but Froggy is going to go down. They did not get the beat. No more pulse bomb in the table. Baka going down after the sound barrier expires. And it seems like Slime City Monarchs is going to have to give up this corner. 4 minutes and ticking. Terrible start to this map.
That was a little, like, on paper, great sound barrier. We were a little too early though, because the overdrive has to take some time. Like, you're not just going to get immediate value out of it. You have to kind of wind up and get the fire. So coming into the last touch here, Fish has a flux. There's nothing really to stop it. Stacey has to hit this Kitsune for any sort of value. Otherwise, we're just done.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful Suzu coming in, keeping Dawes safe from that 50% HP tags that usually get hit with. Froggy is going to pulse, but no one is going to die on the side of Mango Nectar, and the nade is good, finding Silsey. No more susception. No, bleeding onto point. Look at that. 2 picks apiece. A pulse bomb coming in. Is going to find Baka. No way to dodge that one. 94%. This Shatter could be the only way that you maybe win. Beautiful pick. Look at that solo Shatter. And that's not even a bad thing to do, right? You really need the pick.
No, that was, in the moment, that was backed up by the Kitsune Rush. That was everything you needed to make this die. That was Look, you can say what you want about that shatter. It was necessary. There is no pride if your map goes over here with 3 minutes to go. Bandit holding on to this Cassidy ult is kind of the only thing on board. It's going to get shut down immediately by Sanctuary. So if Slime City Monarchs are tracking and paying any attention, they should know that Sanctuary's up. They have to get rid of Sandy if they're going to make this fight hold.
Yeah, ideally Bandit maybe pops it early. Maybe you get I really don't know what the angle is here. I think you just have to play extremely defensively if you're Slime City Monarchs, because the point is just like a little bit away from taking over and completing itself. Man, the beautiful pick up the Kern Master. I immediately get traded out by Fish though, who's just poking at them. And look at this, just going in. Look at that. Yeah, I like it. I like this rally a lot. Giving them a little bit of a fighting chance, especially into the Sanctuary, trying to get a couple of shots at this Tracer, but it's not going to happen. Froggy gets immediately deleted by Blinded onto this side. And look at this Bandit. There's no more Sanctuary to stop this dude. Does it find anything? I don't think so.
No, Fish popped Fish just went off at the end there, and Fish again kind of making themselves known in a world where the DPS have been running it down. Like, right idea. I just think a lot of, man, this is such a tough place to be, Biscuit, because like on paper, if you had showed me like just the intro before like loading in and showed me those teams, I'd have been like, oh, Slime City Monarchs just shut this down immediately. But Mango Nectar really kind of fought against everything. Fish with 9k damage versus Dawes in particular also just shows me that the tanks had just been like, Fish has been putting out so much just work out there. I mean, the supports have been about even with Stylisy putting out a lot more, having to put a lot more healing out, but like the damage output from the side of Mango Nectar just tells me that Slime City kind of was caught out. The fact that Fish and Kieran were able to just to put out that level of damage, you know, we got so much value to Ramatra's forms. I mean, that shouldn't happen. We should have really been able to move away and kind of force those out. I think Slime City Monarchs now kind of realize, yeah, we're not necessarily going to get the dive mirror we were hoping, so we're going to have to take the poke. And I'm not even mad about that. Froggy now picking up the hit scan angle with Bandit taking the flank. Interesting. I do think that matching is probably the right call across the board. When you don't think you can beat them at your own game, you take the mirror. So we'll have to see if the Monarchs can win in the mirror here. I'm kind of thinking they do have a bit of a chance, but they have a lot to prove.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like they were absolutely just kind of like momentum goes down when you notice that a Sigma really just walked in on your line like that.
Yeah.
And it's gonna kill you, right? Very painful. Look at that Blinded. He gets forced out by the Vodka Bandit duo, which is a very classic thing to do, right? You just pair up your alongside your Flex DPS, and it puts a lot of pressure onto your backline. They're kind of impossible to kill by themselves. Fish, because they're not gonna walk on by dogs, but without the form, can you even really do anything? Vodka goes down, especially in that duo fight that we were talking about a little bit earlier. And unless Fish dies here to some strange occurrence, which I don't think is going to happen, I feel like Slime City Monarchs lost their first fight on this point.
Yeah, they'll try to get a tick for their troubles, but I think in the battle of the resources, it kind of feels like Slime City Monarchs just, again, spent a little too much too early to try to get into that space. That it seems like they gave a few of those abilities just to get in and take the fights. So you know, again, we try again here. The negative is that Blinded's already at a pulse bomb, and Sandy is twice as far along on Baka for the Sanctuary. So even with the missed pulse bomb, it's still looking okay. Never mind. Yeah, Sandy is going to be just the hero they need in the time, and they sure were.
Yeah, Bandit going down means that you have almost no pressure on these off angles, right? The nade is going to do so much damage onto this backline. Dawes trying so hard to get something going against Fish, and they finally get it. 2 picks for the side of Slime City Monarchs, and this might be the one chance that you have to break to this point. Support down, tank down, they might be coming back with a flux. The Strog, you find the pick? No, I don't think so. This is a retouch, absolutely, for the side of Mango Nectar. And Slime City Monarchs, if they don't win this fight, I feel they might just be getting full health, 93% of ticking onto this Dawes ult. Tracer trying to get on Kern Master. Couple of shots coming on to the hit scan for the side of Slime City Monarch, who also now has override available. 3 seconds of ticking, ults coming out. You're not gonna hit those shots in the air, let me tell you that much. Big Brain trying to get a little bit of healing, a little bit of stay incoming for the side of Mango Nectar, but Slime City Monarchs wins the fight.
Oh no, the flux. Oh no, the late flush is not bueno. Oh.
Yeah, no, that's it's gonna hurt to lose that ult. It was one of the biggest ults. Especially when there's still counter from Slime City Monarchs, right? 4 minutes and ticking, still down on time compared to Mango Nectar, but the ults that they spent are really significant.
Yeah, that does feel like we get maybe a little too much. I mean, even if we were giving that up because we're gonna go take the Ramatra mirror, I'm a little less sad about it, but I'm still kind of like, we should have just committed it if that was the plan. I mean, Slime City Monarchs does have the ult advantage here. They just have to kind of get... Oh, Bandit, no, baby.
Bandit, please. Please
No.
get over the wall. It's super in, and they might just be getting finished off by DOS here. Okay. A bad look for Bandit, but they win the fight. Doesn't matter.
Do they though?
Kind of.
I mean, they looks like they do. Okay, they do.
A little bit sad that I think Blinded shouldn't be getting two there, but still, they're staggered for this fight. Slime City Monarchs is gonna be able to come back, especially with Misuki, Speed Buff, and Kiri TP, but yeah, not the best look. One fight away.
Well, that's an unfortunate disconnect. I don't believe. Yeah, I don't believe we had an ult, so I guess it could be worse. But for the sake of all things considered, I do believe if my memory of what was on the board for the ults kind of fits that, we were pretty even. So losing that kind of morale and that kind of a momentum that was on maybe on your getting on your side is a bit more harmful than the actual lost ult.
Yeah, and honestly, it's just kind of weird that Blinded was able to kill two people like that on the side of Slime City. I feel like that should not happen. Like, straight up, that should just not be happening onto your backline. But still, Mango Nectar is going to be coming back. Hopefully, we can get Baka back on the line so we can get the match back on track. But still, even though they were able to win, not even slowly on that first point, they're still down a good amount of time compared to Mango Nectar going into third.
Yeah, I mean, they really are. And I think that's just mostly because in Mango Nectar, kind of similar to what happened on map 1, just kind of took control of the fights and constantly won them. They'd find the first pick, they'd kind of find the opening, and then just kind of roll with what they needed. The ult advantage moved in their favor. But for the, on the flip side, it seems like Slime City just, again, they lost that opening fight. It kind of slowed them up a little. It's just kind of a tough spot to be in. So with Stealthy back on, they did get the 52, excellent. With ults now in the favor, Dawes can kind of control this. Dawes is the winner of this fight as long as they get to use this Annihilation and get value with it.
Yeah, the Sanctuary should also be big. Never mind, Dawes won't even get to use their ult. Two people down for the center of Slime City. And you gotta remember, Bandit died first on this fight, so honestly, not the worst loss. It was probably going to happen no matter what. Keep your ults and let's invest them for a better fight. Everyone is gonna have the ult though, except for for both Xions. But it's gonna be a messy fight. Whoever wins this one might just lose the rest of the game because the momentum is gonna be surely swung onto their side.
Yeah, momentum will swing. Well, Bandit gets blinded, so that's pretty good. I say this should be no more ult invested, but it looks like I'm not going to see that.
Oh my god, it's a beautiful shot from Kernmaster. Gets everyone low, but it seems like both Misukis know what their job is, to keep everyone safe from this big ult. Fish is gonna find Tilty, no more sustain for the side of Dogs, is for sure gonna lose in the mirror fight against this Annihilation. Two people left for side of Slime City Monarchs. And just like we were mentioning, 4 ults going in, a team is gonna come out on top, and I think they might just retain momentum for the rest of the game. 1 minute and 30, looking really good for Mango Nectar.
That's actually kind of crazy. Mango Nectar, maybe a little bit of an overinvestment, but I mean, the reality is you're fine with that win. You got everything you wanted out of it. Back to the neutral here with Bandit coming up on versus Blinded on the ult charge. It's, again, going to kind of come down to the first bloods. Those two, this should come onto a flank angle, and I think the winner of that kind of duel will tell us how this is going to play out. Or just going to frag out. Also fine.
Yeah, the first pick again for the side of Mango Nectar. And just like you were saying, it's kind of in the story for the entirety of the set, right? It's just been Mango Nectar gets a first pick, and then Slime City Monarchs slowly bleeding out. Look at that. DOS goes down a little bit later, so they're gonna come back with the rest of the team, but just terrible to see that they just keep getting picked first, and you can't come back from that.
No, especially when you keep losing at its first picks. You kind of just either have to move a little bit faster if you're the Monarchs. I feel like that's really what's been killing them, is they're rounding these corners into the sight lines for Kernmaster, and Kernmaster's just obliterating them before they get it. Bandit and we have the Xian ults up, so we just need to make sure we get in a position to get value out of them. Slime City Monarchs, this is their last chance. They have to win this duel from Bandit if they're gonna get ahead of this.
Yeah, both ultimates ready. First out of Mango Nectar and Slime City Monarchs. Look at that immediate engaging. This is like a beautiful engage. If you're Bandit, finding Sandy first is surely a recipe for success, but Fish is gonna find a pick onto them. The Annihilation is good to try and get blinded out of this fight. Fish, no more form, Das, no more form. And you have to end it quickly before Mango Nectar comes back, because they're gonna be at an advantage if they do so. The Annihilation is good to try and engage onto this backline, but they overheat maybe just a little bit. Baka, constant mobility on the Mizuki, same goes for Silsey. And honestly, this Sanctuary feels, oh my god, wait, is it over? I think it's over for Slime Monarchs. What?
No.
What?
Wait, no, they're still alive. They have the Bandits back, and we're basically fragging out here. The last of that touch is there. Those ultimates are a little bit connected. It's a Reinhardt late here, and then we get one. It's still not done here.
I feel like Mango Nectar should have won that. I don't think Fizz is going to be able to do anything here. Baka is just so quick, especially than Mizuki. 19 HP at ticking. Wow. That was like, I think it could have gone either way, like 7 different times there. So Mango Nectar losing Override and Sanctuary, though, is really bad. Really, really bad.
Some of those last ults, I understand how we got there, but they were a bit of a committed into a fight that maybe we shouldn't have. Bandit gonna go ahead and get stuck there, and the 2v1 manages to get out alive. The team is there. They got found the support, and with that opening pick, now Slime City Monarchs are ready to go forward.
Yeah, no, beautiful. They find the pick onto the backline, and then you're pinching them from main, from sideline. Froggy getting a couple of shots and keeping themselves alive. You get a big reminder doing the special pistol move. Emery able to keep themselves alive a little bit longer than usual. 40 seconds of ticking. Kernmaster with the Bastion swap, and I completely agree. If you're DOS, you're already pinging it, you know what is going to happen. You need to take care of this Bastion as soon as you can. The Annihilation should be ready, and so this reads like last fight to me. The Bastion form immediately coming out, trying to burn through the shield. It's not going to happen. Baka finding a beautiful pick up to Big Brain. The best pick. Actually, no more Susu, no more Sustain Blind. They're looking for a trade, and they immediately do so, missing 0 shots. Das is going to fight onto the point, but it's going to die in the process. 10 seconds and ticking. I'm sorry, Soa, but it seems like Slime City Monarchs will not be taking the dub today.
Bandit tries to go for the ult, but it's Blinded who comes out with a better one. A huge play from the Xians, and no one's there to touch the heart. Yeah, I thought Slime City had a little bit of momentum there, especially with that last kind of pincer maneuver fight with the map control, but Mango Nectar just turned it right around, and I think a lot of it has to do with this player here. It is Fish, and I think Fish's kind of decision-making in some of these heavy fights, the later ultimates really just does so much. Again, Bandit, this move in particular, just well aware of what's upcoming. Fish just kind of got the better of the tank fight, and that helped the team succeed in the bigger picture.
Yeah, and honestly, just looking at Slime City Monarchs, something that's kind of frustrating is that the fights are just, they die first. They always die first. Not even in like a well-organized fight sub where they're like running at each other, just launching everything. It's gonna like poke, you get headshot, and you die, right? So it hurts to see that they're not able to get past this weakness of them. 2-0. Mango Nectar is gonna be just one away from securing this spot going into this next upper finals. What's up? We're gonna have to take a little bit of a break. Very intense game, we know. And if you're Slime City Monarchs, you gotta use this time to think, what can we do better? How can we adapt and hopefully come back into the series? So go stretch, get some water, because BPL Season 8 is gonna be back at you in just a couple of minutes. Hello, everyone. We're back with Mango Nectar versus Slime City Monarchs once again. And coming back from what seemed to be a very heartbreaking map, so I don't want to say that it was terrible, but that first point has to be so demoralizing for Slime City, right? Just Fish legit just walks onto the stairs, goes up and shoots you and you die. And then you lose first point, and then there's 6 minutes on the clock, and what are you supposed to do? So hopefully we can see a little bit of an improvement coming in from Slime City Monarchs.
I think if anything, it really speaks to the testament of Mango Nectar's just understanding of the comps that they do play. Maybe they don't have a dive in them, but they sure do understand that if we see, you know, if we can force a split from the dive comp and kind of make them a little bit afraid to dive and commit, you can take advantage of that. They will get the advantage of a map pick, and for the Slime side of Slime City, it will be Colosseo, which... Okay. I don't hate this pick. I do think Slime City showed some decent angles if you want to try to get, you know, Bandit into a way, if you want to try to bring in some different players, move your brawl angle in. I do think it's good. Slime City is going to get rid of the Mei, and I love that because that was one of the problem pieces from Mango Nectar in map 1. So that is a fantastic read going into this advantage. But I guess Mango Nectar is going to kind of have to look back. It does protect a lot of the DPS. Maybe we just chunk out the Lucio. Maybe we just move that and get rid of it. I think that's like a decent option if you're trying to make the brawl a little more pokey.
Yeah, it's like you were saying, I really like the Mayban. In the first map, you could really tell there were a lot of situations where I was like, wow, I'm just getting walled and I die, right? And the Catman, I don't hate it. We've seen a good amount of like the flying casts, right? Especially in like A-League. We saw a lot of Cat Bastion, Cat Noon, but Mango, I don't think Slime City Monarchs really looks like a team that would resort to that. They seem really comfortable on just playing like Lucio Kiri, Misuki Kiri, but regardless, the Mayman is the most important one here, and we're gonna see if that's what makes the difference in the brawl matchup, because in my opinion, the first map, those walls hurt them so much on the side of Slime City Monarchs that I think it might be a big factor going into Colosseo, which is a map that definitely favors the Ram brawl.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Mei was... I don't think it was the dominant piece of the puzzle, but I think it definitely really did help setting up those 2v1 isolations. Was a big place, and especially on a place like Colosseo, there's a lot of places Mei walls can get value, can create those isolations. So I buy it. I really do think it's a great pick, especially considering it is Slime City's last chance to make a stand. They're going to have to do something else, and I do think we're going to have to look back to the Freya, I suppose. We will have one sub coming in. It will be Saga, the Lucio player, coming back in for Sandy, the Mizuki player, and I think that makes sense. We're back to kind of brawly situations here, so I buy it. Again, I think the question is going to be, you know, what do we see the rest of the teams come out on? And I'm not going to talk about Mango Nectar just yet because I don't buy nothing of that. But Slime City Monarchs is approximately what I would buy. I'd buy that.
You know, to me, that looks real. Mercy, Laurie, you know, having fun. We're gonna have fun today.
No, we're not bringing the Mercy in. No.
That would be awesome. But
a lot of look, the Iari, I could have maybe bought the Vendetta. I could have. You could have like. I would have maybe needed a little more justification, but like because she got hit with the nerf stick, but. We're kind of back to what I expected, and Fish on the Zarya tells me we're trying to make this a tank-centered fight, realizing that we're just winning over DAWs, and I actually think that's the right call for Mango Nectar. Let's just close this out, force the tanks to be the center point, and let's not let Bandit do that.
Yeah, let's not let them do that, because without blinded, can you even stop DAWs from just walking into your backline? It seems like the answer might be a maybe yes. Froggy going down to big brain, always gonna be taking care of the Kiriko, because Oskuna is gonna hurt at no matter what range they're getting shot at. Kern Master just crossing it through the open. I feel like this is a little bit of a dangerous move. 2 people down again, courtesy of big brain, and thus it's just gonna die on point. Pause being called immediately though. I don't know what may have happened there.
That looks like a tech pause on a producer side, so we'll have to see for a second. But I mean, either way, Mango Nectar, like, what's the takeaway from this? Once again, Mango Nectar comes out with a first round fight. They get a first, well, they didn't get the first pick this time, but that happens a lot, honestly. I hate to say this. sounds really bad. I'm picking on Bandit, but that happens a lot, unfortunately, to Bandit. They get the first pick, and then the other team just kind of goes, oh, well, we need to make up on this. Let's go. Let's just smash the go button. And then they kind of turn a first blood into a losing fight.
Yeah.
But I do think that Mango, that's just their style. They've won the first fights. Every time they win the first fight, they continue to snowball that. So the good thing for Slime City here is they won't get the chance to kind of roll with that momentum regardless of what's happening. There will be a little bit of a break to kind of force, that momentum.
Yeah, I have to say something about it as well. It's just they're never dying in these like actual brawls. They're just dying to poke. We just die to Kiriko kunais again, and you cannot let that happen. Especially if we're talking about momentum in other maps, where momentum, of course, it's a thing that is kind of like not real, I guess. Yeah, it's like, but in this one, it definitely is, right? The team that wins first in push is always gonna have a little bit of an easier time going in because the bot has to go a little bit further from your side before you can start making progress if you're the losing one, right? So Slime City Monarchs already down. Maybe we can chalk it up to, hey, they needed a pause, and in the heat of the moment, it's hard to tell. But it hurts to see them get the first pick and still lose. Like,
it really does hurt. Yeah, that's big feels bad energy, and going to the Sojourn to kind of balance that out a little bit is there. Daw's gonna go over to the Rhine, and
oh my god,
no, I mean that's like a late pick on a stagger, so that's huge for Nectar again. Like you said, just kind of dying in garbage time, honestly, and that's just tragic. I mean, Slime City don't have a re-engage here.
We keep talking about this, like they're always just getting picked first, and then it's like, okay, we can't fight. Dawes is still gonna go in because you don't want to give that much point progress, but can you live, Dawes? The answer is yes, and Froggy gets picked first again, and Slime City Monarchs never able to go together. Dawes is gonna go down as well. Saga finding that last shot, and so I'm sorry to say, but you cannot win like this. It's impossible to win like this.
Oh no, you're never going to. But with Mango Nectar again, kind of chipping in another fight as the bot will move a little bit further. Again, like you said, you can't afford to keep taking these kinds of rogue shots to the dome where you just lose it. There will be a re-engage before the second fight. Bandit is coming into an overclock, and that has to be the big deal, especially with Big Brain not in play.
Big Brain finally, after putting down so many players down on Slime City Monarchs, gets picked first themselves. 4 people down for the side of Mango Nectar. Fish, they don't die, which is very significant, especially on Zarya. Oh my god, Baka. Can we get a stable internet connection, man?
Baka me tie right now. Come on. What are we doing here? Yeah. Unfortunate. I
get it so bad. They live in Louisiana and they have like some really messed up storms every now and then. So maybe it's not truly their fault, but come on, man, can we lock it in?
I'm not here to judge, but like, man, this has shades of the like 8-minute, the 20-minute pause while we're waiting for like the game to, the game on match point, and we all kind of, I don't want to say we all know the outcome, but it has shades of that. I mean, I am glad. Getting real though, I'm very glad for Slime City Monarchs to get this kind of turn it around and get a fight. But I do want to see them get a little more coordinated and aggressive. I do think that that's going to be something that's really going to favor, is if they can just, like you said, kind of stop dying in this kind of poke phases, kind of get themselves set up, get the angles they're looking for, and move a little bit more controlled. I think this team looks really great when they set the engagement to when and how they want to do it, as opposed to just kind of letting Kern Master kind of win on the flank and then the rest of the team just advantaging off with it.
Yeah, and one of the things that was kind of like, it's good that you won that fight, and just like you were mentioning, finally getting a little bit of momentum in, but Fish gets out, and especially on Zarya, that's like the one character where it matters that you're able to stay alive, right? So Fish is going to be coming back with at least some charge, which might hurt you. You never know. Dawes is going to be on Reinhardt. Still, which I feel like the Zarya mirror might be a little bit better. Maybe not too confident in the matchup in the head-to-head against Fish, because they're looking really good throughout the whole set. Kitsune is almost ready, Rush is almost ready, Beat is almost ready. So many factors are just telling me that Mango Nectar is going to win this fight, but I believe in Dawes and the Hammer of Justice, taking a lot of damage in Dateable, replacing Baka, something we forgot to talk about. Pulse Bomb is ready, Kitsune immediately coming out from the side of Slime City Monarchs, just taking a desperate shot at maybe winning this fight, but immediately, Kernmaster Maybe a little early.
No, I see the vision, but it was a great read from Slime City Monarchs there.
Oh my god.
Froggy, the pulse bomb though is so big it keeps them back in.
Yeah, Fish is gonna be kept alive thanks to that Tusu. Again, it matters so much that they're able to keep themselves alive, especially so you can kind of remain with the energy. The grab goes to nothing though, I agree. And they didn't even take damage. Celsi was able to stay full HP throughout the entirety of that. TP is gonna be keeping Big Brain safe, and now it's a Reinhardt mirror. Wow.
Okay, I'm not even mad. We're just back to honest Overwatch. I see the vision with Kernmaster. We're using it to kind of punish as like a defensive ult. It's gonna get met by a Kitsune Rush and a Shatter. Huge. That's just kidnapping, dog. We're just kidnapping now.
But we didn't slam it, so you're gonna die. Yeah, you're down so much HP. I think maybe cooking a little bit too much on the offside to like take them as far as they can is definitely gonna end up in. I think if they slammed them against the wall, Fish would have died, but no time for maybes. DOS swapping over to the Ramatra instantly, and I like it. You need anything, like even the slightest bit of counter matchup to try and win.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of are at the point of what do we have left here, and blinded over to the Sojourn is kind of like the hope. It's going to get met by Dadable's sound barrier, and the sound barrier is just like the answer here. If the sound barrier goes off, it wins the fight, it carries the fight. There's not really anything besides Saga's sound barrier that's going to kind of separate this. So if I want to see Slime City get aggressive with the sound barrier. I want to see them go forward.
Yeah, I really want to see an aggro beat, but you might not need it. Everyone is so low on Mango Nectar. Yeah, the beat, trying to keep them safe. That overclock was definitely going to find someone if they didn't invest their early. Fish is going to end up getting punished for maybe overextending with that tackle in there. The Shion getting stoned down as well by DOS, doing a lot of damage. Bandit immediately with a trade onto Blinded. And just like we were talking about, the beat was going to carry the fight, and that's exactly what it did. So Slime City Monarchs up a fight, swapping over to the cast. I actually don't like that as much. I prefer the Sojourn for Mango Nectar, but the bot is gonna finally progress for Slime City, and honestly, they deserve it.
I don't know, Biscuit. I see the vision. We want to shut down the Tracer. We feel like we're not getting value on the flankers. But Fish is just continuing to make the space and run everybody down here. We got 2 value. I mean, the rest of the team put in the work, but Fish's kind of space creation did so much of that. No ults were spent from the Monarchs to lose that fight, so that's at least solid. But nothing was also spent. And I kind of think that here we go again. We're just back in the counter pick Mystery Heroes world where, now we've settled on Ramatra because it's comfort picks. And we're back to, to middle. It's still very close at 58 to 60, but Slime City Monarchs, I mean, 4 ults are primed to win this. It just becomes how much of a commitment do we give into this fight? We shouldn't have to commit all 4.
Oh yeah, no, and I think, it's just a mirror Kitsune, 1 down for both teams. If you're Mango Nectar, you really just want them to invest as many ults as you can. The Spree is not going to find anything. Oh my god, beautiful Vortex from DOS, denying any value from Kernmaster, who was about to go up and annihilate the rest of Slime City Monarchs. Froggy with a good pick onto Saga, no more speed, no way for you to get out. Other than going back to spawn after DOS punches you back into it. 3 people down, 4 people soon. Fish manages to get a pick. The pulse bomb is not a big issue. I feel like it's not needed, but again, DOS could die here. Annihilation invested from Fish. They believe in this fight, and honestly,
it's working.
Looks like it's gonna
working. I mean, they're holding for now, and now that the resources are back in, the Kiko's there. They can spin this fight again. It's always an Overwatch lead. Although later ult will win out a fight, and I mean, it did it. That's exactly what they wanted. The later ult won out.
Yeah, there's a clear winner, and it's Mango Nectar, which I did not expect. DOS looking to contest, but you cannot do anything about this. You gotta respect it. Give the checkpoint. Locked in for Mango Nectar. 3 minutes and ticking, and they're already out. Because you don't need to fight this, right? It's just too risky. Yeah. You cannot risk dying and maybe giving a little bit of extra progress to Slime City Monarchs. 58 and ticking, and they invested a lot on Slime City Monarchs.
They did. Bandit does have an overclock. You need the angles. You need to get this full hallway. But I mean, like, Fish is surrounded. Why did we not capitalize on that? Fish should not have gotten out there.
Yeah, look at this. Oh my god, the Noon maybe getting some value here, getting sped up. Look at this, the jumps here coming in from the sideline. Celsi gets shot. You should have expected it coming in. Big Brain, another shot onto Froggy. I feel like the beat may have been an overcommit, but you just want to make sure that you win this fight. 4 people down, and team kill. I mean, it's still not unwinnable, but I think you need to win a lot of fights in a row.
we're at the 2-minute mark. We are past check here, so that means it is at least 2 fights to get back to neutral, and more if you want to make forward progress. We do have a sound barrier from Datable. It needs to go. Datable needs to not die.
Datable, after getting shot a couple of times, I think they were just too afraid to Ajax. Honestly, I think it would have happened. Froggy, but a couple of trades coming in. I don't hate it. Does have ult, so the fight is far from over. You might just need to pop it, because if you lose this fight, they're gonna give a lot of progress that you won't be able to get back. Fish is down, Doss as well, but the fight for sure isn't the name of Slime City Monarchs. But it just hurts that the way that you win it is by investing Annihilation, which was probably your win condition.
Yeah, that was your win condition. That's your big heavy swinging ult for Slime City Monarchs. The rest of your fights are all kind of dependent. Now you're really dependent on you're basically looking at your DPS line to get a pick in this fight to make this go forward, or you're looking at Datable to send this sound barrier early to get Dawes in and catch somebody who's maybe out of position. That's your only real win condition for Slime City Monarch, and under a minute you have to commit to one of those.
Yeah, this is the last sound barrier of the game for sure. Vaka's back in the lobby finally. Fish goes down first. Do not invest anything. Slime City cannot invest anything in this fight, otherwise it might be impossible to win. Turnmaster taking lots of damage, finally going together. Bandit, Datable. Yeah, good picks right here. Blinded, looking to lie on payload to stagger as much. Tilsy goes down. That hurts so much though.
That's big for Slime City Monarchs, who really need this to stay alive. It is point on the line with 30 seconds. They get it across into the middle, and they'll get it across the butt scratch line. But it's going to be 3-3 with no sound barrier. Slime City Monarchs need to make sure Datable lives to commit this into there.
Doss is not going to live. I'm sorry. Doesn't make you live as Datable is standing still. Yeah, honestly, I think you have to back up. I'm not gonna lie, Slime City Monarchs cannot commit to that fight. Fish is gonna finish it off with 2 picks, and it's gonna be a clean 3-0 for the side of Mango Nectar. And again, losing Silsey there is so bad, extremely bad. No sustain for Doss, no way to live anything, and it's such a mistake to keep going. So that's all I can say. It's such a bad mistake.
I think such a bad mistake is actually a fitting way to sum up how Slime City Monarch gave this away, because I don't think, from what I saw, that Mango Nectar is the far away better team. I don't think that there's this was destined to be a 3-0. I think there's a world where Slime City Monarchs give us a much closer game, but it is not. They kind of gave it away to Mango Nectar, who definitely put on the better performance today and definitely looked like the better team. Across all 3 maps, they just were significantly more coordinated. We saw players pop off. We saw everybody kind of had a little bit of moment, make a killer play. This looks like a team that deserves to go on to the winners final.
Yeah, and I have to agree, right? I cannot say, this is for sure the better team. It's just, again, Slime City Monarchs. It's kind of frustrating that they always lose the same way. And when they were able to give us some of these real fights, they were honestly doing really good.
Yeah,
it's just random little mistake, right? Dawes decides to take the Reinhardt for a trip instead of just slamming him, right? Bandit takes a good shot and then immediately dies after 7 times in a row in Numbani, right? It hurts, but congratulations to Mango Nectar for playing solid, doing honestly very impressive that they were able to win in Numbani that way. But yeah, they did good.
No, Mango Nectar was just simply the better team. It sounds mean maybe to say that, but that was just the case. Mango Nectar just played the better Overwatch. Even in maps and situations where they probably shouldn't have, they just came out on top. And I think a lot of it has to do with the team that's assembled. You can tell it's everybody understands how to play with each other, how to make those moments work, and what works best for them. So they deserve to go onto that winner spot. It is not over though for Slime City. They do get to go down and play in, which is, it's going to be interesting. They will get those who Crow and Hongsa. So it's going to be very interesting, because I think that this is a wake-up call for them. I don't know what their season looked like necessarily earlier through the B League, but I think that this is definitely a wake-up call when you look at how things went down. This is definitely going to be a let's sit down and kind of renegotiate what's going on in our next scrims. Maybe let's listen, let's communicate a little better, let's just tighten it all up, because it is playoffs and you still have a chance. But Slime City Monarchs unfortunately will.
Yeah, and going into this lower round 2, they will play between, again, the winner of losers round 1, which Honks very scary if you have to face them off. Not to say that those occur as a bad team, but Honks super dominant in like during regular season. Losing to Blue Rose at the beginning, very unfortunate, but that does not mean that they were bad at all in regular season. So very scary. Hopefully they can tighten it up and slowly kind of claw their way back into the game. Honestly, they didn't have to do play-in, so I think Slime City Monarchs is a good team. Just a very unfortunate game. Couple of disconnects, couple of just like random mistakes.
Yeah.
But moving on, again, congratulations to Mango Nectar, who will be almost like 2 games away from moving to grand finals. And
one more. This is it.
Yeah. And there's one person that I think really deserves to get a shout out here. For MVP, because Mango Nectar having Fish on your lineup, honestly, incredible tank. They were super solid. A couple of random times, I can only really think of like 2 times in Coliseum where they kind of die in like a very tragic way. But honestly, in Numbani, super dominant, extremely dominant.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot of it, and I can tell, especially as a former tank player, recovering tank player myself, like, you have to call, you have to know so much, you have to trust your team and listen. And Fish, did a little of both. You could tell when they trusted, they took a last minute decision, throwing annihilations on fights that maybe they shouldn't have to come out on top. They played correctly on Coliseo to not push their luck in an advantage in a 1v2, wait till they have the support in the team, turn fights in their way. And look, even as far back as Numbani, where they're playing Sigma in a slowpoke and guiding that team into a pincer fight on that first capture point segment takeover. I mean, just beautifully done. Like, if you are gonna want someone at your helm, Fish proved that they are the person you want leading your team.
Yeah, and Fish, honestly, super deserving of the MVP title. Again, just like we were mentioning, one away from being able to place themselves into the grand finals. So congratulations to Mango Nectar, who's looking really, really good. But before we go, we do have, if you saw a lot of action today and you had fun, there's a lot coming for Saturday and Sunday as well. So we have a couple of games already planned. Again, this is playoffs. So a lot of these matches really, really matter. Tomorrow, we'll have a Pachimari versus Goblin Goobers and Echo Knights versus Serial at the same time, in fact. So put it on both your monitors, please.
Yeah, I mean, you know what it is. BPL has been one of the long-standing, places of Overwatch, and there's incredible talent here. It's actually arguably one of the places you see some of the talent grow from and make it into OWCS, so you never know who's going to be playing in C-League this year, only to make it to OWCS and Masters later. But there's...
Oh my god.
Plenty more, like you said. Sunday of lineups. 3 AB and C leagues all the way, including 4 at 8 o'clock. Look, Sunday on 8 o'clock, primo Overwatch time, because all are a bunch of degenerates with nothing to do.
Yeah, that's a lot of matches at the same time. Regardless, we will see a lot of action, and after Sunday, things will be shaked up a lot during match. For the bracket in the future. But so congratulations again to Mango Nectar for winning the game today. Good luck in the future for both Slime City Monarchs and Mango Nectar. We'll see what teams get eliminated tomorrow, because a lot of the this weekend, because a lot of teams are going to play each other and maybe get eliminated. But so thank you very much for casting with me. It was quite fun. I hope to see all of you sometime soon, tomorrow, Sunday, whenever it is. Take care, and BPL will be back soon. But we'll see you all later.